Yes, everybody, welcome to the Thursday Night Forum. See, Gary, I did the white format, Gary.
Perfect. Good job.
I did. I wasn't looking. I was on my phone. I missed it.
You
It's
switched
fine.
off.
Nobody gets. Yeah.
Stan, you know what happens when you switch off and lose concentration? You give away penalties. And that's what Crystal Palace did on Monday night. You have to be concentrating. It's a 90, well, maybe it's a 180-minute game. Who knows here tonight. But yeah, pull up a chair, everyone. You are welcome to Arsenal Fan Circle. It is the Thursday Night Forum, and I am ready to go. I don't know about these other three people here, but Gary, you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Tony.
Hello, everybody in the chat. I see Don Juan. I see Arsenal Fan Circle. Sam Greenwood has joined us. Tony Turner has escaped and is in the chats again. Arsenal Misfit, welcome to the show. And McQuanical just showed up. Welcome.
And also, as you can see, following on from the last episode, those of you that were with us in the last episode, Tony Turner has now actually been employed by the Secret Service. As you can see, he has the standard issue glasses on.
And quickly injured on the job.
That was a little bit of a crossover. He was on the Circle, the Thursday Night Forum. Then he crossed over to the Trip, and the Secret Service invaded his house over there on the Trip. And here he is, back on a Thursday. Big week for Tony.
Part of Biden's personal detail.
You forgot Wednesday.
I forgot Wednesday. Yeah, the fool Nelson. We're fooling around, right?
What's me and Stan have more sad fan news.
Stan, help him out.
I've missed that.
What's he trying to say here?
It's making that noise again. Can you hear it? Every now and again, talks. It goes, Can you not hear it? It's done that before. It's doing it again tonight.
It doesn't matter what I use either.
All right. As Gary said, welcome everybody. Don Juan's in here as well. Sam Greenwood. Is this the Norwegian Ultras Appreciating Society? No.
I saw that, and I'm very my eyes. That's all I gotta say.
Look, he can type, Stan. Aston Villa. It is now official, Tony. It is official. You've picked Aston Villa.
So what is Stan going to go? Stan, what are you going to complain about now? Oh, now's a cutoff time. The game, no game just started.
Well, you know,
he
met the cutoff. Yeah, he did. The only thing is, Stan, that he's actually picked Burnley because Burnley are playing Aston Villa. So you've actually picked Burnley as the upset, Tony. You know that.
Oh, he doesn't know how this thing works, does he?
I'm talking about last week, right?
So you're going to be a week behind from now on?
Last week, this week. Okay, what's going on there?
No, I gave you my picks last Thursday.
All right. If people don't know, if you know, you know. If you know, you're a legend. If you don't know, the upset challenge, Tony did not put his pick in last week. We're still waiting for his pick this week. Tony looking dapper.
And what was the name of the show last
This is
Thursday,
flicking.
right?
Tony, make sure the connection to your appliances.
It doesn't matter what I use, right?
I know that, but we have to try. Hawkwind, welcome. Morning, peeps. Did you enjoy
How
Monday?
are we ever going to catch up with Arseblog at this rate? It's never going to happen, is it?
No,
it's never going to.
I've accepted we can only be third best behind the Arsenal Vision and Arseblog. Third is a trophy. Third and fourth is a trophy.
Third is a trophy. You aim low, guess what?
So we're in Europe, then at least. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're in Champions League. Don Juan can hear it too, Stan. So that is your idol, Don Juan. Tony, bringing his. Well, he's bringing his A game, right? But he's playing in the reserves slightly. You see the soccer
Just
stuff.
because I have a coach like Arteta and doesn't like young talent.
Like a seal, right? Seal light.
Is it still being
free? Yeah, it's clicking. What's all right. So listen, let's get into it. Gary, start us off.
It sounds like someone's trying to come in from the other side, if you know what I mean. You know?
Yes. I expect to hear a very short lady with her hair tied up right now saying poltergeist,
right? So we're going to get going here, right?
Yeah, start us off, Gary.
Let's get going here. Let's say hi to Hawkwind and Stefan have joined us. Welcome, BX Gunners in the house. Welcome to the show. So let's get going. So let's talk about what everybody's thinking, and you're all going to be surprised by this. You're going to all be really surprised.
And
The
before you go,
officials,
I'll let you
the
go.
officials in the Premier League,
I never saw it.
they cheat,
Oh, we know
and
that.
and they're not even they're going to tell you about it. They are really corrupt. We saw the tweet. I mean, is it
You
Mike
see that
Dean?
tweet I put out? Yeah.
Mike Dean basically said he didn't want to.
that-
He didn't want to call his buddy over to the VAR because you know what? They're mates.
He's my mate.
Oh,
I want to
God.
know the context of that sentence. I mean, I'm trying to think to myself, surely he just didn't say that out. You see what I'm getting at? I didn't want to send him over to look at the screen because he's my mate.
So basically, you're not doing a job, and now
So,
you just So they
what's the
just
context of that? Surely there
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
be. Well,
Well,
there has to
I
be
just
something.
at some
mean-
point doesn't like the 200 football teams or whatever teams have VAR basically stand up and go, wait a second. So you're saying you're not even going to do your job? Why are we employing you? Right?
So I didn't see this. So what happened? Mike
Mike
Dean's
Dean
come
basically
out.
said he didn't call in the which game was it? I forget which match it was.
Was it an Arsenal game? Yeah.
No, it was in
I didn't want to send him to the screen because he is a mate.
which match was that? You remember, Stan?
I'm not so sure. It's just in the Metro Sport.
Yeah. So
You know?
yeah.
It's in
So
the Metro Sport. It's not someone. I mean,
I've
unless
always
someone's made this up with a template and put it out there, I don't know what the context is of this.
I've said multiple times if the football teams want change, then they're gonna have to demand it, and I think they should be able to do that, right? I mean, they're the ones that this is all about. It's not about the officials, right? It's all about them. So I don't know if I'm a manager, I'm upset because now that just means guess what? It isn't about results anymore because some of those can be taken away from me.
Mhm.
You know, opportunities
Yeah,
to
they
win
are setting.
get taken away from me. So then why is my job tied to a system that's broken?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, they've what is it? They sent an apology after within the first match day one basically. Hello, you didn't even get all 10 games in, and you're already apologizing for making a mistake.
Okay, so Gary did say football. Okay, we can confirm this. This is a stink that's following Gary for a little bit. I'm behind you, Gary. It's football. I know you.
I don't know what that S word means. Do you,
Gary? The integrity of the game is in serious question. So you have to call it football.
Well, no, you know what it is. It's poor because now you have betting, you have players' careers, you have managers' jobs.
Yeah.
Teams are getting relegated. Remember, teams could get relegated, and it could be because of just the one game.
Yeah.
But Gary, they said sorry. All right. They said sorry.
That makes it even. I feel much better now.
Exactly.
Lee Mason also said sorry when we dropped 2 points against Brentford because of them.
Yeah.
Didn't make a difference in the end. But
so then, what is it? The guy who got fired from our job, from the South, was it the Southampton? No, the Brentford game, right?
game.
He got fired, and then they brought him back to support the new up-and-coming referee.
Yeah,
how does that work?
Train them up.
This guy who's driving
it's a club,
the bus,
mate. It's a club,
crashed it. He crashed it.
Gives a job.
He crashed it into
Does
a
he use?
building, and now he trains the new bus drivers. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Freemasons. They've got secret handshakes and that. It's like Illuminati. They're all like,
How's he use? How's he use? Gives a job.
I can do that. Gives a job.
I remember.
Yeah.
Gonna work for
over
the
this side of the pond, but I know.
Souness.
Yeah. Spencer said, but do the English actually care? Because we constantly hear media complain that VAR takes away the emotion of the game. Yeah,
I mean that first time VAR was implemented, and the goal was scored, and it was like, remember by the end of the season, the fans wouldn't even cheer when the goal scored because they're like looking for VAR to come up, right? Yeah. And it's like I can't even cheer on my team and be happy, be in the moment when they
Howard,
score.
man.
I mean, it just takes
Um,
away.
The
All right,
moment.
so-
You said it, Gary. It's the moment, isn't it? It's the exact moment.
You can't
you know?
recreate it again. So it's like you just lost it. So either
It's like
either
by the time you
immediately-
wait and you get the result, you're like, I can't be bothered to cheer now or anything. I can't.
Exactly.
I've missed that. It's gone. It's gone.
All right.
The moment.
Hawkwind wants to talk about Tierney loan and Balogun to Monaco. How many likes do we need, Tony, before we talk about Tierney and Balogun?
Lucky star. Up in the ante.
Thinking about it.
Tony's
three.
counting.
Just three. Just three.
Just
Make it
three.
work.
3 likes.
Make it
Okay.
work.
Hit the like
What I
button.
was going to say to start off, because
Well, there's
you went out,
we need 3, and there's only 3 people in it. So
Everybody go 1, 2, 3.
since you went out,
Yeah,
Hey, I got
before
9
Milton,
in here, okay? I got 9.
you're looking for 100% there, right? That's like.
So how did you, Tony? Why did you pick 3 when there's like 11 people who?
Why did you pick 3 when there's only 2 people in it?
because it's easy.
It was
All
a
right,
trick
so
question.
I think we got 11, so we're good. Let's go.
All right. Tierney. Stan, let's start with you with Tierney. I know you've got some Scottish blood in you, so talk about your countrymen.
Well, I'm affectionate to Kieran because I've always, for me, I like to have at least one Scottish person in the team, and if I can get it as well, I'd like to have a Jamaican, which is why I always wanted us to sign Leon Bailey, just so that I can be fully represented. But I'm not sure. I mean, how many players are training on their own? There's Balogun, Tavares, Rob Holding, Tierney, and I think another Lakonga are all training. When I say they're training on their own, does that mean like that? And it's maybe Cedric. Does that mean that group of 5 players are training as a 5, or is each one of them training on their own? Do you know what I mean? Like not seeing anybody.
They showed a video, and you can see them all in there. Like there's like 5 of them over here, and then you see the rest of the team over here.
Yeah.
So it's like
they usually train with
waving.
under 23.
I know,
They
it's
should
just
start a
like-
podcast.
Like when you look up at a window, like looking through, and you want to go outside. It's like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
It's like uncomfortable. It's like when you go out for a big meal at a house and they don't have enough chairs. So if you get the wrong chair, you got to sit with the kids, and you're just looking in at everybody. That's what it looked like. You got to sit on the little chairs, and everybody else has got the big chairs with the big glasses, and you got the plastic fork.
Tony.
I haven't finished though about Kieran Tierney and this training on your own thing. I've always thought to myself, okay, we know that they want to sell these players, but until they're sold, aren't they still part of the team? Or are they walking around? Are they like walking around with their hands in the pockets? It's fucking
Stan,
shit here. Fucking hate it.
They're extras. They're like extras on the movie set,
Well,
right?
I've always said, and I've been saying this for years,
They
that
could be still part of the the
Arsenal
background,
always
the training.
They devalue, Sorry, they always devalue their players, and this right here. Why in the world would you allow this to be put out there, that you are separating players that they're deemed not necessary, not part of your future, and then you're going to turn around and try to sell them. Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You can't sell them for value because you just devalue them.
Yeah,
I mean, we're lucky they want to spend any money on our players because we've already said we don't want them.
I agree with Gary there.
As one of those players, you must know you're not going to play. You've been told you're not part of the setup, so you get your agent to try to move you on and find the loan for you, find the move for you if it's not possible to be loaned. You know what I mean?
But then you look at something like the Harry Maguire situation, where he's probably, he's not going to play for Man United again. He's not going to be the captain again. And West Ham came in for him, and he turned the move down, which is his right to do. So it all depends. All depends what you want more, minutes or money.
And that's where Arsenal was a couple of years ago, Stan. We had quite a few players who wanted to stay because of the wages. We still have a couple that are doing that as well.
And do you know what we did? We did that to all of their contracts.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Still have Rob Holding 4 years.
Yeah, the ones that were moved on, we did.
Ones
we
that
did off.
Yeah, I think.
And for Ozil, it wasn't that. He needed a lot of wood to burn that one. That was a big one. And the Aubameyang's. That was a bonfire.
True.
We even tore
So-
up a contract
No,
on by Hero.
Yeah.
Good
Mr.
evening,
Chambers.
Emmanuel,
Hey there.
Lawrence Emmanuel as well.
No, but like
Um,
Tierney, what was looking like our future captain, at least some was thinking that, right? Remember?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he can't get minutes, and now he's like what, fourth in line to get on the field at one position. So,
do you think?
When you're playing right backs and centre backs in that left back position, and you're Kieran Tierney, you're thinking, well, it's game over, isn't it? I'm not even coming in when Zinchenko's
Game
out.
over.
I'm not coming in to state my case, to have a go at playing this inverted role, to maybe show the manager that I'm worth keeping around. He's playing these right-footed players in there. I mean, that's it, and it's curtains.
Yep. And Don Juan said, I guess a loan deal might raise his transfer value.
I thought Newcastle wanted him early in the window. So for me,
Went quiet, didn't it?
if a team wanted him, if there was any substance to that rumor,
I like
and you're going to
Hawkwind
sell him anyways,
77's
then why wouldn't you
comment.
just sell him?
I think
Don't
we've drawn a
want him.
line. I think we've drawn a line at what value, where we value these
That's
players.
idiotic the way we do it, because he just lost value.
Hawkwind is.
He's lost value. He's
got
not going to be
contract
worth
up.
the same amount of money next,
Hawkwind,
even if he has a really good season. Because guess what? We still don't want him. He could go out there, win everything, and we're going to try to sell him. They're going to go, why am I going to spend top money for this player you don't want? You know what I mean? It doesn't. If Newcastle wanted him, you sell him. You know, Arsenal's got all these rules about how to sell a player that they don't even want. They don't think is good enough for their team. You know,
big up the boys who's joined us as well.
And my biggest concern is with these players that are training on their own, that everybody, the world and his brother knows that we want to get rid of, is that we don't get all of them homes, and we just end up loaning them out. And all we're doing is we're just kicking the can down the road till next season when they come back again. And now we're going to be, now what do we do with them? Anybody want them now? Anyone out there now? No. Okay. Set light to the contract. Let them go.
Go ahead, Tony.
You have like Balogun before it was anything started at all, before the window was closed, almost as soon as it's open, they're like, he's on the transfer list. Why do you have a transfer list? Call the club, see who's available, not advertise it.
Right.
Yeah. Even drop flyers off with a letterbox with a load of players on it. I don't know. But what annoys me the most about this window has been that Balogun is supposed to be, I suppose, the biggest asset that we have to bring some money back in. And it annoys me when I see the kind of figures that people are submitting for him. And I just watched that young Rasmus Højlund, who did far less in production-wise and has far less experience, just swan off to United for like 70-odd million. I'm like, well, and we're still stuck with this guy. We can't move this guy on for 50. Do you know what I'm getting at? So what is the difference there? What is it behind the scenes where we can't engineer what they're engineering? We're stuck with all these players. It's all right doing really good deals and bringing in Declan Rice and doing this and doing that. But if we can't get rid of these bods, we can't bring any more in. We're bloated as it is. 30 in the squad, isn't it?
Yeah, we're getting towards Chelsea proportions here. And Chelsea are the ones who are getting slagged off for it. Steven said, I have no clue what these clowns are doing.
You know the difference between
Chelsea.
You know the difference between Chelsea
that's a lie you
and
just
Arsenal and the way
told,
that they
right?
sell. Chelsea never went out there and
Chelsea have like 60 plus players.
What? What did he just say?
Yeah, I mean, they probably
They
do.
really had like 61 or 62 team players
What's
on
the
their
difference? What's the
last
difference,
season,
Gary?
I think it was.
Just what they weren't actually going out there broadcasting that their players are on the transfer wire or whatever they call it, in England. They weren't saying that. They didn't look like they were saying, all right, you guys go practice over there because you're not worthy, right? They didn't do that. They made it. They are part of the team, right? And a lot of times you can put it out there that a player is available, and it's City does it all the time for players, right? But when
Chelsea also had that escape tunnel, innit, under their pitch that goes to Saudi Arabia that helped them out.
Yeah, and Brighton.
They made more money from Mount and Havertz than they did from everything else that they did.
Will Kieran Tierney look back at his time and say, look at it, he's had basically the Community Shields there's 2 trophies plus an FA Cup in his time with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Is that not bad for a player that's joined us 3 or 4 years ago?
There's a lot of players that have been playing longer than him that don't have that on their CVs, right? But I would say that as much as you know, I have an affinity to Scotland. If he goes back to Celtic, for me that's about a backward step, because that league, there's nothing to it in that league. There is nothing to it, and I think that he's moved away from that. He should be looking to stay within Europe for me, Kieran Tierney, at a higher level, because he's a very good defender, and there's a lot of teams where he can make a difference as long as he's got someone to back him up, so that he doesn't have to play 90 minutes for doesn't have to play Gabriel minutes, because that will never happen. But he could be very good for someone. It's just unfortunate that for whatever reason, we don't want a traditional left back that can tackle and move up and down the wing. We want one that can come into the middle and do other stuff, and that doesn't seem to be him.
Yeah.
So who's going to be left wing come this weekend?
What do you mean? Our left wing?
You mean left back?
Yeah.
Who's going to play? Zinchenko.
Could be Zinchenko. Could be Kivior.
Yeah.
Could be Tommy Asu.
I don't like how he.
But you know who it won't be? It won't be Kieran Tierney.
It won't be Kieran Tierney. He's going.
Tony, you got more chance of playing before Tierney.
He's going to a decent club that's going to be on loan. He's going to play in Spain for Real Sociedad. They finished 4th in the league last year, so he's going to play Champions League football.
What, he's going there, is he? Is that done?
Yeah,
he's going on loan.
He's supposed to. They want it done by the end of before the end of the week. So he's supposed to head out to
Real Sociedad,
to Spain, and get
options to buy
and all that stuff.
Anything about options to buy or anything like that?
No options to buy.
We're just kicking the can down the road, didn't we?
Well,
a little bit. I mean, a lot of clubs are doing
What's
this.
What's the deal with the perpetual loans? They don't make any sense, right?
Well, when your valuation of your players is too high, it's the only option you have. Like
but you end up paying part of their wages.
We pay 25 million for him. Surely he must be worth at least 28, at least. And I'm being generous. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He hasn't gone down in value. His value must have gone up.
If you're buying from Arsenal, are you paying what they're asking? Nobody's here doing that. You're smart businessman. If you're a smart businessman and Arsenal has a player that you want, and you watch and you look at his minutes and you go, he's their 4th left back, right? Well, he's not worth that much money. He is a better player than maybe some of those other players.
That makes sense.
But he's the 4th one in your team, so he's not worth that much.
You're right. You're right, Stan, Gary.
He's Scottish international.
This is disappointing from Arsenal. I thought this summer we would get some decent outgoings. Right now, I think, and Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, we got 23 million for Granit Xhaka. We got 5 million for Trusty. We're about to talk about Balogun. We'll get 40 million for Balogun.
So far, we've made 43 million, I believe. It's around that number. That's what we've brought in so far.
Yeah. Turner was about 10.
Only 34 mil in euros.
How do you only get 10 for him?
We're going to do English pounds. We're going to do English pounds.
If it's 34 euros, it's even less than what you're saying, right?
What's that?
34 euros right now, according to Transfermarkt.
34 euros.
In terms of what we sold.
Okay. And that could be 23 for Xhaka, 5 for Trusty, and I think about 10 maybe for Turner. That's 38, something like that, 35. Okay. We're going to probably double that.
It's 15 for Xhaka.
No. I thought it was 23.
I saw a total of 43 million. That could include add-ons, though. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah. The add-on shit.
No, you're looking at the market value. You're not looking at how much we actually got. It was 15 for Xhaka.
No, it was an article I was reading about
8 for Turner, 5.8 for Trusty, and 4.9 for Marie.
Yeah,
because when I read the article, they showed you how much we'd spent, and they said that means that we've had a net spend of 196 million.
Yeah,
I can't remember what the figure was.
It's just over 200 euros that we is our.
So let's backtrack a little bit for Lawrence here. We talked about this a little bit at the start. Have you guys? And there's more context here. Have you guys heard about Mike Dean, who was on VAR duty for last season?
We've done that.
Chelsea, Spurs, and not seeing a clear penalty for Chelsea. A match official, Anthony Taylor, failed to see, and the didn't want to put his buddy on the spot. Was what we were talking about.
So they didn't want to do his job. So
Yeah.
so this is where I don't. Like I said, I keep saying
Lack of
it.
integrity.
Why don't the football teams actually stand up? The clubs, right? Stand up and say, "Look, you guys are wasting. We're not getting a good product from you."
Hasn't Mike Dean just retired? Has he? He's retired, right? Mike Dean.
Yeah, so he can say whatever he wants, but it's a
you
bad
just
look for.
integrity,
Think about the loyalty for everybody talks about these officials are all part of the same gang, right? The man left and then started basically putting dirty laundry out.
So if that was taken from an interview, I wonder how much he got paid for said interview. There's always money behind it, right? Do you know what I mean? 10
A lot
grand
of money for that, for sure.
Some interview in the Sun or some shit, probably.
Yeah.
No loyalty, no integrity.
No. All right. So Kieran Tierney's going to Real Sociedad. Stan.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Okay.
Look,
Well, I wish him luck.
It's happened. It's happened pretty quickly in the last maybe today, Gary. Even
No, it's supposed to be by Monday. He'll be officially gone.
BX said Tierney was kind of shafted by Arteta and it truly was unfair to a player of his ability and professionalism. I don't know about this because we're going to a place that maybe Kieran Tierney can't take us.
But you know what? You have a player there that you can get something out of.
Disagree,
so I think no. That you know what? There's if Arteta's learned anything,
Can't be afraid of players
from
leaving
Pep
the club.
Ray.
Sorry, Gary. Go ahead.
What is it? Tony wants to talk to you about
Tierney,
something.
Yes.
Gabriel, Saliba, back three. Do you trust that?
Give it to me again.
Tierney, Gabriel, and Saliba. Back three.
I trust it. Yes.
And why can't we do that since the fullbacks act as wing backs?
Yeah. Look, we're not.
He can do.
We're not a team in decline anymore, Tony. We've gone from 2 8th place finishes to a 5th place finish and a 2nd place finish. So
fucking
you really can't criticize. You really can't. You will criticize Arteta, but you can't.
5, innit?
But you know, if you don't take advantage of the players you have, then yeah, we can criticize. In multiple games, when you're trying to either hold on to a lead or make sure that team doesn't punish you, we can go defensive, and we don't even do that. So you can't bring on Tierney for that situation, right?
All right.
I mean, the Liverpool game points that out clearly, right? Clearly, right? If we brought him in for Zinchenko, maybe we get the win, right?
Yes,
but we don't.
One instance in Liverpool. Yes.
No, but there's multiple of that, and then you know what? Maybe Zinchenko doesn't go down injured or anything because he doesn't have to play as many minutes. Because guess what? You can rotate. You can actually manage your players so they don't have to get taxed. I mean, and be worn out by the end of the season. That's the other part to this, right? Everybody says,
he never bought Tierney, did he? Never bought him. He's not his player as well.
He didn't buy Saka either. He didn't buy,
Yeah, but Saka's come through the fabric of the club. It's different. It's different.
No, so did Balogun, but it's not that either.
He signed
Mr. Fro came through the same fabric you're talking about. That same fabric you're talking about, Emi Martinez, some of that same fabric you're talking about. He's been with the club for a long time, right? So, no, I don't think it's... yeah, Saka's a really good player. I think Balogun has a future. We're not going to see it, right?
Oh, I'm just finding it out again.
No, but I'm just giving you a reason why it doesn't carry much water.
Oh, there's holes in my bucket.
Got more nonsense. Tony,
there's holes in my bucket.
No.
There's a hole in my bucket, dear Gary.
What do coaches do?
Dear Gary,
coaches look at video, they analyze it. They analyze the data from training. They critique and look at it. Should we finish second last year? Did we have a center back that was better than Rob Holding? Yes, we did.
Yes, look.
Did we throw away fourth place twice? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I just find it hard to believe
Once.
that if you're playing with Zinchenko and he's hobbled and you've got to put someone else in, I find it hard to believe that someone that's only just recently come to the club, never played in that position, is the wrong foot, is going to be better at doing a job in that position than Kieran Tierney, in my honest opinion. I just find that for me, it's just like.
That tells
And
you
maybe
how
that's
much
why
he doesn't
maybe
like
that's
the
why
player.
Arteta gets 8 million a year and I don't as a manager. But I'm just like, really?
That about
That's the answer. Okay.
team
Fair
partners
enough.
able to finish seasons, right? And you bring in Jorginho, and you're like, I can't put him in games. It's like, what? They played.
So,
We have we. I don't want to hear the second thing. We had answers for all the problems that we saw. Trossard and Jorginho, that would have helped us, right? You had Tierney, that would have helped us.
okay. Well, my general point is that we are improving, right? You can't say Arteta's doing wrong things.
I just told you the three things he did wrong. So yes, he can't do. He can in a finishing second. He can still do bad. He can still do wrong things. Okay. Stan just told you. You have Tierney there, and you won't play when you need when you want defensive.
He can do no wrong.
Right, exactly.
Tony,
what is Thomas Partey?
What?
Why do you keep asking me cryptic questions?
From Ghana.
He's a midfielder for Arsenal, not a fucking right back.
Okay. And what's Bernardo? Tony, what's Bernardo Silva?
Granit Xhaka. Not a left back.
Bernardo Silva played fullback at a point as well. Stefan said Kieran could have won more medals had he stayed at Celtic. An outrageous waste of talent. He won the league 9 years in a row. He should try to play in England. I've got nothing against Tierney.
He tried, but Arteta benched him.
It's a shit league.
I don't know why he would move I don't know why he'd move to Spain.
People laugh at the French league, man. This Champions League is not even close to the French league.
What's wrong with going to Spain, Tony? He needs to experience.
Do you know how many points Rangers scored in the Champions League last season? Do you know how many points they scored? None. In their qualifying group, they didn't get a single point.
It's what they always do.
Don Juan, this generally happens at the end of the window if you don't get a move.
No, but if you know you're going to sell him, why don't you try to sell him at the beginning of the window when you can get more for him?
Nothing solid happened, Gary.
What do you mean nothing happened? It wasn't as if we weren't going to use him from the start of the. Look at this: 10 games with 10 games left in the season. Who here said, "All right, Tierney has got a spot on this team"? With 10 games to go in the last season, right? Okay, so now it's the end of the season. At that point, did anybody think Tierney has a position in this window? All right, halfway through the window, did anybody feel that Tierney had a spot in this team?
Yeah, but if there's no bids, even though Gary, you can't just drive him up to Newcastle before the sun comes up and leave him on the doorstep.
Demand money.
Leave him on the doorstep.
I saw Aubameyang go, and it worked, right?
Look, Boyce said supply and demand. It's still a market where supply and demand exists. If they need a left back, we got one for sale.
Look at all the players. Look at some of the players that we've got training. Sambi Lokonga, and there's been talk about him, and there was talk about Burnley and Vincent Kompany. Now there's talk about West Ham. Look at our biggest asset, Balogun. Let's talk about Chelsea, Tottenham, a team in Italy, Monaco. We've had one bid and we've turned it down because it's not enough.
Apparently,
we don't want to get
we're going to get on to Balogun, but
we can't.
Apparently, he's going to Monaco, Stan. Sorry,
but we can't just we can't look at Nicolas Pepe. We're literally got him walking around with a sandwich board on, going like, "I'm for sale," and it's, he turned down a deal to Besiktas, so we can't force him. We would have taken Besiktas' money, but for whatever reason, he didn't want to go there. And so it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got two markets now that Spencer's talking about. Maybe Saudi Arabia, but I can't see Kieran Tierney going to Saudi Arabia.
What about Italy?
You're too hot for him, isn't it?
I don't get the thought process that
factor 90.
We need to sell our players at a particular value, but we won't sell them to English teams because they're direct competition.
Nobody.
If you don't think that player is good enough for your team, how in the world do you? if Arteta is the smart person that we think of, Edu, they know the business, they know all that. If Tierney isn't good for them, and you can take the money that you sell him for and go get a player that's better than Tierney in your eyes, that makes you better. We were sitting
If
second
Newcastle
at the end of the
wanted
season.
him, Gary, if Newcastle wanted him, we would have sold him to Newcastle.
Yeah,
don't
we didn't
even
say
know
you can't
that.
buy him.
You know,
We didn't say no.
so-
No
That
one
was
can
just
buy
a
him.
rumor. I don't know. Like
And
I said, that was a rumor.
Exactly.
And,
Again,
Spence-
that makes it even worse, doesn't it? Because it's not even something solid.
and Spencer, it's like there will
And
be
that's
sales.
started-
Can I just say
within
one
the
other
Premier
thing? Like, I know you're saying, like, well, you know, if he's not good for your team, then he's going to want him. It's not because we don't want him, because it's like a Rob Holding situation where it's like maybe this guy could even be playing in a league lower and might be okay. It's just the fact that he doesn't fit the style of what we're doing. It's not that he's rubbish. He will fit the style for other teams that don't play inverted fullbacks and want a fullback that can run up and down the line, put a tackle in and cross the balls in. Somebody should be wanting him.
Yeah. No, I just feel like if you're able to sell Tierney for whatever amount of money, and for example, say you did go out there and you got like a Simican because you could get him, then that will make us better. And Tierney adding to whatever team he goes to would make absolutely no difference. I mean, why is City was okay, right? Saying Jesus, Zinchenko, bye-bye, see you later.
Let's just play
Right?
quick.
Yes, we got second, but they still had a really good team without two players that could have contributed to a lot of wins with them. So I kind of feel like you have to. It's not, if your system's going to work, you have to do whatever you can to strengthen it, right? And they did that. Like you're telling me, we found Timber, we couldn't find another player of similar quality. If we left Tierney, if we sold Tierney, or we sell Balogun earlier for more money, if there was option, but I think
Let's play a little game, and I like to ask all of you this and everybody in the chat box to give me a number. We bought Kieran Tierney for £25 million. Obviously none of us are transfer experts, but we all play FIFA and Football Manager and see what players are bought and sold for. How much should you expect us to be able to sell him for in your eyes? Me personally, I would say at least 35 million for me.
Yeah,
that's a 10 million increase, because I think since he's been in Celtic and Arsenal and being under a lauded manager like Mikel Arteta, mini Pep, it's got to have increased his value.
So nice nice win, such a nice win. Yes, I agree. 35 million. I definitely had 35 in my head when you were putting that out there, Stan. Gary, what do you think?
I don't know.
You gotta have a number, man.
What's
I
the
don't
number?
care. If we just sell the guy, I don't care.
I care. I
think if we got 25 mil back, we'll be okay.
A break even. You don't think we could get a
break even?
We should be able to turn a profit, shouldn't we?
You're asking you. I know.
Shouldn't
okay,
we?
what we should and what we're going to do. Is that what you're saying? We should.
I think if we don't turn a profit on somebody like Kieran Tierney, how does that stand us in a negotiation with a Balogun? You don't get it. People see us.
But
do shit
Balogun
like
is all about potential, which you cannot judge, but you can see it, right? Tierney isn't going to get much better at what he does, right? But he's a solid player. He can start for you. He's defensively sound when he's healthy. He probably won't be able to give you a full season's worth of games, but when he's on there, he's going to play, right? So for me, you get into potential means that you can spend a little bit of money. What the world's going on? Drag racing?
So, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. I didn't tell you that I live in Los Santos, right?
I know.
Still, Stan, did you just fucking hijack a Lamborghini down there?
You got Bargov, I saw Taib in the house.
Taib as well.
What's your number, Tony?
Rule.
You got a number, Tony?
My number for what?
If you were going to sell Kieran Tierney now, what would the number that you would want for him?
Profit.
What is the number you would sell him for? What would you sell him for? You bought him for £25 million.
Probably. In between that 24 to 27 range.
Really? The fucking hell.
This is a guy who complained we didn't sell Granit Xhaka for 40 million when we had the chance.
You can't sell a starter for 25 mil. How in the world are you going to start the fourth left back in your team for over 20? That's the thing. This what you just said. Like
Stan, what did you say
people
at the start of it?
said
How
if we
much
kept
did you-
Xhaka, that
How
would be
much did
okay
you say he
based
was
on the way we
worth,
played.
Stan?
Well, we
Yeah.
bought him for 25. How much would you sell him for? He
Good-
was in
good
charge. How much
international
would you want
player.
for him? Or something?
I would still want mid-20s.
Jeez.
Oh, that's breaking.
Okay.
You
That's
barely
underwhelming.
breaking even.
That's very underwhelming, Tony. I thought you were.
You don't think that he's improved as a player since we bought him, and his value hasn't gone up in any
He's
amount.
fourth.
Not when the
We bought him a guy.
for us.
and
Yeah, he's
6
fourth
months
for
later,
us
he's
because it doesn't match what we do. But it's somewhere else. He could be first.
Do you think Newcastle would
He's
worry
not,
about the
you know,
price?
he's not fourth because he's holding.
You know?
He's not fourth because he's pants.
Newcastle
fourth
would pay
because-
35. If Newcastle wanted him, they'd pay 35.
Yeah, they could
I
afford
believe.
that.
You know, BX. Why can't Arteta experiment? Balogun. Why does he need to base everything on attitude rather than giving him a go? Yeah, we're going to switch to Balogun pretty soon as well. But I guess Kieran Tierney's story was he wasn't an Arteta buy. He did well for
I
us
don't think
for a
that's
couple
it.
of
He
years.
just doesn't fit. He's not the left back he wants.
Correct.
He doesn't
Correct.
want defensive left backs. Unless
That
they
was
can
like-
actually invert, like
That was-
Timber, right? Timber can defend. Oh, and he can move up into the midfield and be comfortable there. That's what he wants. I think Timber playing defense
Sure.
is just a bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to,
Yeah.
well, you know what? You can do your job and then some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that why we went for Rice? So we could have somebody more defensive in the middle, so you don't have to worry about the wings. Because you
Worry
have
about
three
what?
defenders.
No.
You don't have to worry about the wings because you can have 3 players drop back.
No, we went for Rice because he was one of the best number 6s on the market.
That's what I'm saying. You can drop him back when you're on defense.
What do you drop a 6 back? What do you mean into as a center back? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Maybe
In
I
an
don't-
emergency, if we're in the Champions League final in a
We
couple of years
play
from now,
hybrid formations,
That's
right?
not what he
You
means,
do realize
Ray.
that,
I
don't
know
Come
that
on.
I'm trying to help him.
I know. Stop you. The man's
you know we
drowning
play
over here. You're
hybrid-
like, here's some
You
rope.
know we play hybrid formations.
He
don't
doesn't
you, right?
grab it though, Gary.
He
That's the
doesn't
problem.
grab. He's too busy
He's
asking
a
a question.
defensive midfielder. He cannot drop back to protect.
We're
the
not
two
going to talk
center
football
backs.
today, are we?
Can he not
Tony,
drop back to
you're the
protect?
best,
the
Tony.
center
Service. The Secret Service are tanking the show. The president said, "Shut this down."
It's like, Tony, are you in there?
back? Yeah. I'm
We
here.
got you surrounded.
It's Tony Binary. Come on, Tony.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Don't take the drugs an hour before the show. We love you, Tony. We love you.
Oh man.
Okay, let's flip the Balogun.
Hunter S. Thompson.
Let's flip the Balogun. He should be getting sold to Monaco. He's going to go back to Ligue 1. Ligue 1. If I pronounce that correctly.
Monaco's not a bad place to go, right? So
Monaco's not a bad place to go, no. They're top of the league now, Gary, after 2 games.
very
Oh
nice.
boy, right? 2 games.
Well, you can't play 38 in September or even in August. So, you know when
You
the
act like-
league begins.
You act like you
league
should get a
ends.
little trophy. So what they do to the Spurs players, you play 2 games, you're in first place, you get a little trophy. Like the season they were in first
Yeah.
after August.
Yeah. I mean, for
They
the
tanked.
amount of. Yeah.
We're going to
Just
get
saying,
into Havertz as well. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay. So what are we talking about now?
Balogun. I'd
Yeah.
like to talk a little bit more.
No, I've always said I wanted him. I would like him to stay here, but if Arteta doesn't want him, then we need to sell him for the most money we can to whoever wants him. I know, I heard somebody said, I think they said Chelsea might have been interested or something like that. And I guess you don't want to sell to your direct competition. But
Yeah.
I just feel like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. If you're that good and you're that confident in what you do, it doesn't matter who you give, You don't want him, then there's a reason why you don't want him. And guess what? If you're coaching up against him, unless he changes his ways in less than a season, you're gonna know how to beat him. So,
Or
if
Eddie gets hurt during training.
if Eddie get hurt and we have to settle for Trossard or Martinelli, I'll be fine with that. Actually, we'll be okay with that. What about you, Tony?
I'd still like to see what Vlad has. He likes Arsenal.
Would you be okay if Martinelli or Trossard decided to play in the 9 or 10 role?
Yeah.
And they're better than Balogun.
Yeah, but as I asked you, is Balogun better than the Chelsea player? But
Jackson.
no.
Which one?
The one we bought in the window, right?
Oh, Havertz. Okay. Are you asking if Balogun's better than Havertz?
Yes, I am.
I would say that's a very tough question to answer right now. But I would say no right now.
Balogun is potential. I keep saying that.
He's a striker.
He's not about today. Balogun is not about today. No matter what team he goes to, he's still got, unless he goes, goes back to Liga, he's already established there. But Premier League, no matter what team he went to, he's not established yet. It's a new league. Yeah, so no. He's not probably better than Premier League players.
But we were linked with Wall, which was playing in Ligue 1, valued at 60 million. So
Balogun doesn't see what he sees in Balogun.
Shouldn't Balogun be the same price or more since he's
obviously not? You're going in two different directions.
Like Gary finished.
It's just silly what Arteta does. It really is.
It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't help when you're not like your players aren't wanted. You know what I mean?
Isn't football a team game?
Yeah.
You use what you have. You don't let people that get 10 assists in a handful of games sit on the fucking bench when you bought him for the winter window. Same with a center back. You don't play Rob Holding above him.
There we go.
Logical sense.
One from Roll here. Difficult to move Tierney for 35 million. Injury prone and with cheaper options out there. There's some validation, some validity to that maybe.
But that nullifies your assumption that he's worth 35.
Well, we bought Zinchenko from around about the same amount of money, and he's injury prone as well.
How much did we buy?
He left the team that had won 4 Premier Leagues in the last 6 years or something like that. So I think it's a little bit type of different situation.
He wasn't the main man at City as well.
Contributed to that team.
Contributed.
And guess what? They weren't selling him. They weren't actually out there actively going, you know what? We're not going to practice with you're not going to practice with the number ones today. You're going to practice over there by yourself. They weren't doing that. At least they're not broadcasting it like that. So I kind of feel like that all goes into it. It costs more. Like, think about Xhaka, right? We would have kept Xhaka, right? But a team wanted him. And we actually got more money for him than we were initially going to get. That's how the sales usually work. That's why you get the closer to your value. Because guess what? We didn't need to sell him. Everybody would have been happy to keep Xhaka, let Havertz play, and then let Havertz kind of gel, right? Because what you're going to get with Xhaka, and Havertz has to learn that role. But guess what?
I still want to see Zinchenko in that role.
Yeah, but that's not even an option. We know that, so it's not even It's like a
Uh,
that discussion point doesn't. There's nowhere to go with that. He's not going to play
So
there.
we're about to recoup with the sale of Balogun then, and then another 40 million. So that'll be close to 75 million, 80 million, depending on what you think recouped in the market. It may actually help
it'll
us.
be in fair play.
Stefan said, "Nah, Tony's a character. Bless him. We need more eccentric people, as I can't be the only one. Surely, Tony's fan club is growing.
It's the same people.
And the problem is what? What is the problem with that?
But now they're showing their loyalties to you, Tony.
You got friends, and you're like, what do you want? It's the same ones. Well, that's usually your friends are usually the same people every day.
Stick with you through thick and thin, Tony.
Yeah, but Ray said I was picking up fans. It's my same fans.
They're showing their loyalty to you now. That's what it is. They're making their loyalty known to you, known to
They're not
all
really
of us.
fans, though, are they? They're more like disciples.
So what,
Yes.
he drugged them or something? Is that what you mean? They drank the Kool-Aid?
Rule. Look, with the prices that have been going,
Them
the
coming here
market?
every Thursday is like a Sermon on the Mount.
I really would think that Tierney will not lose his value in a year. Rules saying he'll cost between 10 and 15 by next season, or even less if he does not get game time. Sociedad might be even less. I think he's gonna have a year. He's gonna improve his transfer value.
What is he now? 25?
Oh, you are kidding yourself, right?
Is he 25 now?
Have you
Ray?
been here? Hello, Ray?
Okay.
What?
Let's
Ray, how
remember
old
this
is he?
conversation. Gary, how much do you think next summer or
How-
even
How
January?
old is he, Ray?
I go for 17.
17. Okay, I will say closer to 30.
I go for 17 because he'll be a year older. And,
All right.
and Arsenal, somebody said there, Arsenal's going to save at least $6 million in salary by having him go, plus
Yeah.
whatever fee they're going to get for him. So there's no reason for them. They don't have to sell him for the 25.
But I think he's going to
you're
improve
thinking
his
of.
value. I think he will improve his value in this year.
What player over 23 has improved their value going on loan?
Oh, over 23. You got me there, right?
The only ones who
I mean,
the only
there's
ones,
not
the only
many
ones,
players.
the only
that
ones that
go
are making
alone
money are the
over
ones that
23.
have potential, right?
There's
'Cause
not
we could've
many.
yeah,
Usually you loan out younger players, and the older players you're loaning them out in the hopes
we
that they're
loaned
going to.
Cedric out, right?
Yeah, I can't name a player. Sorry,
Yeah,
you got me.
there's not that many on our team that are going out that are, like Balogun's. Yeah, Balogun went out, increased his worth, and then we sold him. We're trying to sell him now, right?
Mhm.
Saliba went out, earned his worth, and we kept him.
You got me. You got me there. Okay, that's Balogun. You want to talk about Gabriel Jesus now? Because I heard a little birdie told me earlier, or maybe it was yesterday, that he was back in training, and we heard
Can
about
we
that
go back
today.
That was
to
today.
Tierney for a second?
Yeah, I heard it yesterday.
Go back to Tierney. That's like the first thing we
A
talked
source,
about.
a source
No.
close to me told me.
Why?
can-
Why? When you're the manager, do you sign him for 5 years?
Why are we even talking about him? He's gone, dude.
Tony, you need to bring your screen back to where it's centered. It's centered on your face. It used to follow your face.
Well, I can do that. I like the cinematography.
Now
I
we
can do
can't even see your eyes anymore.
Yeah, so Gabriel, there we go. It's gonna follow him wherever he goes now.
Actually, you know what? Pull back.
Maybe Tierney is overrated by us US fans. So yeah, Gabriel Jesus. We're 2 games away from the Man United game now, and Gabriel Jesus is back in training. Do you think he makes a substitute bench on the weekend? Is it too soon?
They showed there's a picture of him and Ben White. Basically, Ben White's like, there's a lot of contact. So I would say he's probably going to be on the bench. I mean, so yeah, I think he'll be on the bench.
Okay.
He needs to get some minutes.
So-
I mean, yeah.
Here we go again. It's like this reminds me of like Anfield again, maybe. in spring. He comes back into the team, and is it the right thing to bring him back into the team? Because he's probably going to play a full game against United then, right? If he plays a part against Fulham the following weekend, the first game in September, he probably plays against Manchester United at home. Gabriel Jesus over Eddie Nketiah. Okay, I mean that's not bad. But he would have to play some part against Fulham to be ready for Man United game. Bargav, I wouldn't say strong personalities, but divas. Arteta doesn't want divas. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Divas. Tony's
It
actually.
kept sounding like you're saying Beavis.
I shouldn't even show this. We shouldn't compare Tony to Putin at all. Each year, Arteta has evolved some positions.
Yeah.
So rule. I wonder how many people Tony has arrested for crimes they never committed.
You know that number is high.
Highway patrol.
This is so wrong, but I'm still highlighting the comments.
It's like
So,
it's like Tony pulls somebody over. You going 50 in a 40, and it's like I was on my scooter. What are you talking about? I can't go. Doesn't even go 40.
Every time a conflict happens, though, players get tagged as a diva, even minor ones. Hold on, Tony.
Yeah,
two game crack,
no,
Tony.
Kieran, he's not a diva. That's just nonsense.
No. Kieran Tierney, he wears shorts in the snow. Scored that goal against West Brom. Was it West Brom? I think it was West Brom. Tony Whipple's arrest warrant out.
It's very disappointing to get a young and upcoming player.
Don't do it, Tony. We want to keep you on this podcast, Tony. Don't do it. Don't get on a flight, apparently. Whether bad apple or diva, both are bad traits to what he's built. Yeah, look, that's horrible stuff. All right. So any other Arsenal news out there? And when we'll talk about the game on Monday? Arsenal news out there. We talked about Tony. We talked about Tierney.
If they sell Balogun, should they bring in another player? And if so, who?
Yes.
Who?
Good question, Gary. A defender.
Who?
I don't have names. A left back or a right back. Maybe a right back who can play left back.
Simican?
Yes.
I don't know who else there is. I know Fresneda looks like he's going to be going to Sporting. So that option
I definitely think that the cover that we got for Saliba and is gone now with Timber being out for most of the season. We need to go and sign another cover for that event, for that possibility of Saliba getting injured again.
You're saying the wrong word, Ray.
What?
You need cover for Gabriel because Gabriel's was the one on an island.
Yeah, and look,
even before way before Saliba got.
Does it, Tony? Does it look like Arteta has identified that? I mean, Alonso has been talking about Gabriel for all of last season.
And this season before.
And the season before. Do you think Arteta has seen this about Gabriel Magalhaes as well? He's prone to an odd mistake here and there. It's the only way you can explain why he hasn't played the first two league games.
He doesn't need to.
Okay.
With that, you keep saying we're that better at our squad now.
Yes.
We don't need to play Gabriel against the teams we played so far, Nottingham and Crystal Palace.
If you were going to rest a player,
so
you
rest
him in those games and prepare him ready to play Manchester United and City in the next 5 games. So yeah, that's what you would do.
It's not really the player you would rest coming into the season.
He's a player. He played every game.
None of us. That's the reason. That's the reason why.
That's why it's a good reason to rest him. Maybe Arteta now can go, you know what? I don't have to play him in every game.
Okay.
Because I have answers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. We went into Crystal Palace game with the lineup. You know, I'm calling it a double pivot through the whole team. You know, Partey playing right back so he can invert in midfield, releases Rice into that left 8, Tony, and that releases Havertz to be a striker.
We did that
I
last
just feel
year,
like if we needed
better
needed
players.
to what?
So we did
Tony-
that with better players last year.
Tony is the new leader of the Wagner Group, but has kindly taken time out to join Arsenal Fan Circle for a couple of hours. He has come to be the new leader of Arsenal Fan Circle. That's what he has come for.
Tony, don't travel anywhere in a helicopter or an airplane. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
Don't
Keep it
go
on that.
near any windows.
That's dangerous.
Don't go near any windows or any slippery bathroom floors. You know.
Do you know how hard it is to piss on one leg and one arm?
No, but
Standing
I'll
up?
try it. I'll try it tonight.
You'll try. Ray just falls over.
What a tequila.
Too much information. You know, it was that hard.
Ray just passes out with his
Just take,
bottle
Tony,
of
just take a
Irish
shower.
whiskey.
Tony, just take a shower. Just
You
take
know
a
it's
shower.
Take a
sterile.
shower.
Gary, at least it's sterile,
Can't get this wet yet.
right? It's sterile. It's sterile.
You're not showering that then,
I'm
Tony?
like Gizmo. You can't
You
get me
can't.
wet.
You can't have a shower in that.
Nope.
Well, you can't just like wheel yourself into like a car wash or some shit.
I can have it
The
until
brushes and shit. Just the brushes.
I have like
with their
another.
feet.
I have like 4 more days I have to wait
Just
before I.
get some Depends,
take a
Tony.
shower.
And,
Tony, you're
How is it
losing
good?
followers. Stop talking like
Anyway,
this.
nothing.
You're losing.
Nothing a can of Lynx Africa can't help.
The Tony Group
Wow.
is dwindling right now. The Tony Group. Sicko
It's
Vibes
late
said
in England.
Mahrez contributed to City's season, was sold. Gundogan contributed, was sold. City are ruthless with players. Why can't Arsenal be?
Chat box is
The only
kicking
issue.
tonight.
Yeah, the chat box is kicking. I'm still
She
20
puts
minutes
the lotion
behind.
in the basket.
Yeah, if you believe in your system and the way that you want to build your squad, it doesn't matter who you sell. If you're selling a player, it's because you don't want him. You will bring in the next thing, all right?
So why
Yes,
are
he
we
did.
discussing?
Actually, you know,
Why
he
are we
did. He made-
discussing
he
this
ma-
when we know
He
what
made
our
his
players
upset
that
pick
do?
for last week. He just put it in today.
Yeah, he picked Aston Villa.
Tanner's upset pick from last week was submitted today. Today.
Officially.
You
I
heard
have
his future.
We
What knows
did
what
it
his
last
upset pick is for this
Thursday.
week? I suppose we'll find that next week.
You've heard. Yeah.
Ray,
Was you born in a
Right.
leap year?
Ray,
It's
Ray,
not like
when
a salary every 2 weeks. You
Ray,
you don't have to wait a week.
Raymond,
Yes.
Mr. Irishman there.
We
When
love
did
you,
I
Tony.
when did I verbally tell you my pick?
Oh,
Verbal. Verbal Kent. It doesn't matter verbal.
Ray
Come on.
only accepts written submissions. That's the rule. You know that.
That's never been the rule.
Ah,
They always went that way.
Tony's
We could
actually
say
mad
it
at
on the
me.
show. We could say that was our pick.
All right, we're moving on. Zenny coming from Man City champions for 2 years straight. Totally different from Tierney. True. Definitely totally different.
Ray always fucking me over Selhurst Park.
Tony, I'm reminded of last year. You said we didn't exhibit enough control last year in that game at Selhurst Park where we won 2-0. Were you happy with the control we had on Monday night?
Nope.
Why?
Still too thin of margins.
Did they have a decent opportunity that you would fear that they would score off of?
Ray, how much did we beat them by?
How much did Manchester City beat them by last season in winning the league? 1-0 and by a penalty also, Tony. So it's not easy to go away from home and win. Tony looks like the big boss man from WWF.
Are you they didn't score?
He is a gooner.
We should have scored more, all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's nothing about the defense. You're not concerned
Nope.
about the defense, even though that was the question. I thought.
Yeah.
I
The question's
was
about
concerned
defense,
about the
but you're not
defense,
concerned
but
about the defense. You're concerned that we didn't score enough, and they
it
didn't
can be
score.
Can we be concerned about both?
No, but that wasn't a question.
I asked you about the difference in control that we had in this game from last season to this season. And I think Gary might agree that this season it looked a lot cleaner than last season. Looked like we were in much more control. Actually, we might actually say Declan Rice was man in the match. We'll find out later. Tony will decide. God help us all. Tony will decide. But Declan Rice enjoyed himself out there and enjoyed digging in that last 20, 30 minutes to get the result and seal 3 points for us. Only 3 teams now in the league have full maximum points, Tony, and Arsenal being one of them. We're definitely selling and most likely bringing in one more player, but at what position? Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the... Gary, do you think it'll be one of the defensive positions that we're going to get a player?
You can do either one for me. So...
The Tony cult has many benefits. David Crash. He's the leader of our cult.
Oh, no.
Right, Tony?
Yep.
Stan, did you think we exhibited a lot more control in this game at Selhurst Park on Monday night?
Well, I didn't actually get to see this game in its entirety, and it's probably not fair for me to comment. I've only seen like bits of highlights and what everybody's been talking about, so I'm quite interested to hear what you guys say about it and individual performances. I do have a question, but maybe if this isn't up yet, park it. But I'm interested to know from those of you that watched this game, what your thoughts were on the performance of Kai Havertz, because what I've been reading, it's been very split. The guy seems to be like Marmite at the moment, almost very much a little bit like how Ozil was. I see some people online and they're saying like, you know, a very good performance, you know, running the channels, doing this, doing that. And I've other people saying like, he looks shit, you know what I mean? It could be, it's just going to cost us.
I think he's more of a Granit Xhaka than a Ozil. But same point though.
Wow, it's as bad as that.
Well, here's the thing with...
I'm listening to it, I'm like, how do I differentiate between the pair of them that I never liked? I'm like, do you know what I mean? Can I punch them both?
Yes.
I think
CIA can do many things. Stan.
I think our team is good enough that we can give Havertz as much time as he needs because we're pretty good all around. And what I wanted for him is the kind of splash that Jesus gave, but that's not. I realize that's not going to happen. He's not that level of player, quality, confidence, whatever you want to call it. So he's just going to have to get vetted in. It's going to take some time before we get everything we want from him. I don't like that idea. I think he should earn it. You know, like earn it a little bit. He's not doing as much for me that he's earned it, but I think we're good enough around him. But I'd rather have him play up top where Nketiah is. And let us go a little bit more solid behind him. Ask him to do. I mean, I think everybody said his off the ball work was really good.
Okay.
So I don't know, like Xhaka's off the ball work isn't something. Did we really talk about? I don't know. Did we talk about that? I don't know. So I don't.
Yeah. Xhaka's off the ball work.
Defensively, he's not. I think Rice is between Rice and Havertz. We're fine. You know what I mean? Because Rice is overachieving from where people would have thought he would have been, and Havertz isn't. So it kind of evens things out a little bit. If Havertz ever gets to where Arteta, I think, wants him, we'll be so much better there. So I think that's what Arteta is probably gauging with when you put that much money into a player. If he gets you to that place, and then Rice is already there, and it's only going to get better every time he plays. You kind of get the answers that you want. So I think that's what Arteta wants. I just feel like we already have those answers and let him, he doesn't have to be, it's one of those things. It's like, let William play because I saw him play pretty good the one time, and he'll get back to where I want, as opposed to, you know what, let's rotate our players in and out and stuff like that. And at least because time away is going to be a plus as well, I believe. So.
Yeah.
I
say it all the time when I'm watching a game. I never said much about Havertz in the game, right? You know, like I'll say stuff about Xhaka in the game. You know, either he'll make a defensive play here, or he'll get in the referee's ear, or he'll take a shot. You know, he won't make a pass, or he will make the pass, or he'll take the shot, or he won't take the shot.
Or he won't use his teeth.
All those. Can I finish? Dude, you just gonna keep talking?
No.
We're talking about Havertz. You can't finish.
Like I said, I just think that he's going to let Havertz, you know, work his way into the squad as opposed to earn it, you know. So,
what do you think of him? What you've seen? I know it's only 2 games in the preseason, but can you see what the value is? Can you see him? Can you see the reason why he should be a starter? In what I know, it's a very early snapshot, and I know that you know, me and Ray said that we look at it in 10 games, but I'm interested to just know what you guys think, because he just seems to be dividing people right down the middle at such an early stage. Almost
there was a sequence of play where Partey was in trouble in that right back position, and Havertz was there. Do you think he's replacing Granit Xhaka? Granit Xhaka would have stayed there outside of the D and outside the 18-yard box and help Partey form a triangle to progress the ball up. That's what Granit Xhaka would have done. I saw Havertz peel away to his left 8 position, leave Partey alone to figure it out between
another
midfielder or center back. So the thing with Havertz is we're asking for Havertz to get goals and assists, and in 2 games, okay, it's only 2 games, but he hasn't done any of that yet, and we haven't seen him score anything. He had pretty decent preseason, but we need to see more, and we need to see goals and assists. Tony,
if I give you £70 million, do you pick him?
No.
Pick a striker?
This is not about me. It's about the manager who has identified a player.
Then there's no point of talking, because me and Gary know what he's going to do every week. It's not hard.
Shout out to Tiger and Gunnar. Hi, guys, from Perth, Western Australia. Really good when you tell us where you're coming from, and good to see you here all the way from Australia.
For me, I think that even though maybe on paper, when you look at a starting lineup, he looks like he's in that left 8 position. I think that he's playing, from the little that I've seen at times, more sometimes as a second striker, looking for knockdowns and knocking the ball down. And I think it was James Nicholas that said it on the last Arsenal blog that I listened to, who was saying that, you know, that he kind of falls a similar way, and says that how that could really be something more when the forward is Jesus and not Eddie. When you've got somebody as Havertz acting like a second striker with knockdowns for him, you know, headers and knockdowns, and Jesus is in, and so to speak. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Jesus comes back. But for me, the jury's still out. It's too early. I've got my fingers crossed it's going to pan out, and I really hope it does, because it could be an expensive mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is Mikel Arteta's Pepe right now, you know.
And with a 5-year contract and the salary that he's on, if we find out in 2 seasons' time that it's not working, we're stuck with him for 3 years. He'll be going out on loan, and we'll be paying still be paying the most of his wages and that. And I really hope that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. So listen, I thought we exerted a lot of control in this game over Crystal Palace. I think the edge that we had, Gary, was like we were quick on our feet. We thought we played that free kick really quickly, and Eze in particular was not ready for that.
Yeah, it was a team effort for that free kick, or we're jumping to the second half already. But yeah,
we're all over the place tonight. It's okay.
It was quick thinking from.
It's unstructured.
I think a lot of people haven't been given Partey credit for that. But if you notice, like I showed a video, and they showed a video, Partey pointing to the spot, basically saying, "Get the ball there." and then Partey actually making the block, which I guess is illegal, but making the block on the defender, and that's what left Nketiah by himself. So I kind of felt like, you know what? And then, of course, Rice makes the pass quickly. Nketiah makes a good run, and then we get what we get out of that. So good team effort there for that goal. And having Partey and Rice, you can see them. They're both pretty much playing side by side. So I don't understand why we don't play a 3-2, a back three instead of asking him to go back and forth. I don't believe a player who's had injury concerns all of a sudden now is being asked to play, out of position and exert more effort on the pitch when he's really good at as a 6 as opposed to an inverted right back, right? Just feel like it's just asking to do extra work. It works, and it does. It's almost like the whole Zinchenko as a left back when he's a midfielder, right? Just did the same thing on the other side, but it's more defensively sound, right? So that's why missing Timber is pretty much sucks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much sucks. So
we had a player we were excited about, and Kieran Timber looked like he was going to be the real deal, and we lose him in the first game of the season. Yeah. A lot like Kevin De Bruyne with Man City. BX said we wanted a big target man for ages to rain down crosses, and we're not utilizing them. Stan, two games in, and Eddie Nketiah has had an effect on both games.
Yeah, I heard that he worked quite hard in the last game. It was 1-0, right? It was scored by a penalty.
1-0 penalty.
But I did hear that he missed some chances. He hit the post, right? And again, I'm not going to criticise or sanitise because I didn't really see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's the second game of the season. We don't expect him to score in every single game, right?
No.
Jesus doesn't.
Yeah. Two very good chances. The first one was a little bit like, I'm going to compare it to Henry, where he tried to slide it in onto the back stick, and he just hit the upright, didn't go inside. And the second one tried to fit it into the roof of the net and poked it over the bar. Two that you like to have back, definitely, Gary. Yeah,
no, I mean, strikers don't get that many opportunities to score. 2 chances in a game could be considered is probably a lot.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And he almost had a third opportunity when he drew the PK. So, basically 3 opportunities for him to probably score, and he didn't. And I think that's not good for your position, right? You're supposed. I mean, I like to say if I'm going to evaluate Eddie, it's going to be by the goals. Yes, he created the PK, but I think there's at least one of those 2 he's got to put away.
Yeah.
He's got to put him away. It's too bad for him that Jesus is coming back because now there might be a little bit more pressure on him. So we'll see how he'll take the pressure and use it, for good. But yeah, no, he's got to score one of those 2.
Okay.
He doesn't, because for me, what else is he? That's what he's supposed to be there for. We could say he's more clinical than Jesus. All right, you got to put one of those 2 away.
Yeah.
Got
to put one of those 2 away for sure. That brings me to Stan, who's going to put something away. You've got a plug, right, Stan?
Oh, is it that bit now? Okay, yeah.
Why not?
I've been sponsored for
You've
tonight.
had two private chats in here, so I gotta
just a quick segment. I've been sponsored for tonight's show. It's just a very quick plug. So tonight's sponsor, this segment has been brought to you by Chef Boyardee Ravioli. Chef Boyardee for the overstuffed ravioli. Thank you.
All right, so everybody get your can openers out and your Chef Boyardee on the stove. Heat that stuff up and eat it. You can eat it cold as well.
I loved it as a kid.
There you go. It's even got Tony's seal of approval. What more do you want?
Endorsement.
It's an endorsement. You're not getting any money though, Tony. But
I loved it as a kid. Yeah,
I did.
So Eddie Nketiah.
especially when they would change the shape.
Tony, it's my endorsement, not yours. You're not start pulling that out from under me. I see
Tony
what
wants a
you're doing.
piece of everything, man.
Yeah,
That
it
man's
was a
in
piece of
everything.
everybody's action.
I told you, didn't I, at the start of this podcast, it would be a good one, action-packed, ready to go.
Yeah, I've been watching.
You know, you always give this Tony
beef
after he's
packed.
had the surgery.
I have the game going because I just, like you said, what is Havertz doing? And I don't know what the positives are in terms of like the off the ball work. You know, he's
We're going to
running
give
around
him
a
a
lot.
little bit more. We're going to give him a little bit more of a slice before we dice.
I just thought he would be part of a build up, part of the attack, all of that stuff. I'm not seeing it.
We have
Oh, do you know
we
what
have
I asked
only
you guys
scored
about this match? I forgot. You
3
know,
goals.
like the first match, we saw that lineup, and we were all a bit like, huh? And Mikel was like, "Don't worry, everybody. I'm leaving out mega legs, but it's all tactical. Don't worry." And then we go to the next match, away from home, and it's the same lineup. What do you make of this? What's going on here with the lineup that we're seeing and what the manager is telling us? Because I ain't buying it.
I have no.
What is the
idea
manager
what it is.
telling you that is tactical?
Yeah, isn't it? Everyone's like, "What's going on here? And why are we playing? You know, this kind of It's just tactical. It's been tactical for
How's
the first
it
2 matches.
tactical when you're
One at
playing
home, one
a-
away. Very, different environments. But so I Mega Legs has been paid for 73 games consecutively. That's more than 2 seasons, right?
Yeah.
First 2 games of the season, he's not in. Okay, you tell me the first game that it's a tactical thing going on and all that. And we see that he brought him at the end when he needed him. But for the second game, you're doing it again. How do you go from playing all of the minutes on God's green earth to none? I just find that really, it's a drastic change, hugely drastic, right? So I just wondered what you guys make of that. Chat box as well.
Gary kind of alluded to it's okay, right? Is that what you were kind of saying earlier, Gary?
Maybe it's tactical in the sense that he doesn't have to start every game for us to be able to get something out of it, right?
Is this part of us saving something for the last 10 games of the season?
It's not even the 10 games. We have to be able to compete on 4 fronts.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's going to get, like, he shouldn't have to play 38 games in a season. We're supposed to have the depth, and that's why I guess if you were asking about who should we bring, we probably should bring in another defender because we're pretty fine up top. We could do with more better talent in terms of attacking, but in reality, we have more answers in the defense, then we'll be better off for it. So I think that's what he's that's what he's doing.
I think the key to this season will be conceding about 10 less goals than last season. We were close to 40 goals, over 40 goals conceded last season. If we keep it down to a low 30s, we have a great chance of being right up there at the top. BX Gunner, the new BX is saying if Eddie puts away at least one chance, it's a different conversation as to how that match went. Yeah, look, that's the fine margins that strikers will be judged on, but we can't sit here and say that he has not had an effect on the 2 games.
Yeah, but part of that is he needs to be able to score when he's put in that position. That's also high on his list of things that he needs to do.
Yeah, out of the 3 goals, he has scored one. He has scored one and engineered the second. So
but he should have scored one of 2 opportunities that he had for himself.
Yep.
Yes, drawing the penalty is cool. It got us the win, but he has to score one of those 2 opportunities. There's no like if, ands, or buts about it. We should have been up 2-0 in this game.
Yeah,
it's all right if he's getting like 8 chances and he's fluffing a couple. But if you're only going to get like 2-3 chances in the game, they got to count, didn't they? You know what I'm saying? They have to count.
Rule said in the match there was a lot of variation when attacking. We were a back 3 with Partey and Rice in front. When we were defending, it was a back 4 with Rice and Havertz in the middle. So
brings me to another question, guys, as well, because I never saw this match.
Sure.
How did this Partey experiment look to you guys in this match? Playing at the right back and coming in. Is it something that you can see? Oh, it's getting better. Or are you like stop that?
It's not. It's not some. It's not as they say. It's not.
Gary's
That's
the
not a
second
long.
one.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a long.
Gary
should not be
says
doing
stop
that.
that, right?
Yeah, no. Just play Partey where he needs to play.
I think
Like
he's getting
personally,
better.
if you're gonna do this, I would have rather we seen it on Saturday.
Let me ask you a
I
question,
think
Gary. Do
he's
you think?
getting
Hang on. Let me ask
better
Gary
at
this,
it.
right? Do
Mhm.
you think this Partey coming in at right back is it's just at the beginning of the season as a way of having someone to hold Declan Rice's hand in midfield while he adjusts a single pivot? Do you think, or is it totally something different? This is a tactic that's going to try to be a mainstay.
I think it's something. It's a tactic, just like why is Zinchenko over there? I think that's what it is. Like why is Zinchenko not in midfield kind of thing? Same thing. It's because they want to have an extra
Yeah.
midfielder in there. This time it's more defensive. It's more
So-
defensive, right?
And the person on the left wasn't inverting in that last game. It was all coming from
Tomiyasu,
Partey.
right? Tomiyasu isn't
Didn't
asked
invert.
to do that. So yeah. I mean,
We can
he
do
does come up.
this.
He does come up a little bit, but it's not the same. So
Okay.
I think we can do this away to Crystal Palace. I think we can do it at home to Fulham.
why? We're not.
No,
that
but we
bad.
can't. My point is we cannot do it at home to Manchester United. That's my point.
Yeah, but you don't need to give Partey.
No, we probably
shouldn't have
can
to play.
to United, but not
Partey
Liverpool.
shouldn't have to play in that game. In this game, like in the City game, if you said, you know what, I want Rice and I want Partey to be that double pivot.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
right? Because we're always saying we're not going to go with a double pivot because we don't want it. That takes away one of our midfielders. So then Arteta said, all right, I found a way to do that. We'll still do our double pivot, but now we have Havertz and Ødegaard there, right?
Mm.
That's the answer. So now you've got your two guys, and if you're
I thought it
playing
was
City,
Partey. No,
Partey and
coming
Rice,
in to make up the
Ødegaard
double pivot.
and Havertz. So
When we're playing the
Yeah, right.
Manchester clubs, I like Gary saying, I think when we're playing the Manchester clubs, Ødegaard can be your number 8, but it's got to be Rice and Partey as the other two in that midfield.
Do you remember under Unai Emery?
you're gonna bench Ødegaard?
No, I said Ødegaard can be your 8, but it's got to be Rice and Partey
I
Do you-
think he's gonna use Havertz
as your
still.
base.
Do you remember when we were
I don't
under
know.
Unai Emery and then at the beginning of when Arteta took over, most of our attacking build-up play would come from the left-hand side. It was really almost stilted to the left-hand side. Now it almost seems that our attacking play is coming from the right-hand side. That's where the boxes are being made on the pitch between the fullback Saka and maybe Ødegaard.
Yeah.
It was shifted from the left to the right now. And it was Tierney that was kind of instrumental in a lot of what we were doing down the left, wasn't it?
Yeah. That leads me on to a question combined with what you're saying, Stan, and what Rule is saying here. In the match, to be fair, only Eddie was truly given the Palace defense any work. This brings me to Martinelli. Is Martinelli playing well in these two games?
I didn't see it. He looked all right in the first game to me, Gary.
Yeah.
He's been quiet, Gary.
No,
He
like
looked
I
all right
said,
in the first game.
Yes.
I think they're still trying to figure things out a little bit because you've got Havertz there, and Tomiyasu. I don't think that's I think in that kind of a game when you
Nail on the head.
you have Havertz and
Nail
you have
on the head.
Tomiyasu on that left side of the pitch. Martinelli's by himself. He doesn't have Zinchenko there, and he doesn't have
Exactly,
Jota
Gary.
there. So
The partnerships
it's-
that he built up,
yeah.
they're not there no more.
yeah, so it was a totally different. So he had to he would get the ball in certain situations, but not like he was against Nottingham Forest, right? It wasn't like that Nottingham Forest where he was able to get some space and stuff. So different game. I think Zinchenko, you have Timber, it makes it easier, of course, but I think we're figuring each other out right now.
So
And
what I'm getting,
Tomiyasu shouldn't even be over there, and then you're asking him to build a relationship with Martinelli. Martinelli don't know his game. Now we've got a Rice in there as well. He doesn't really know his game, so I think the left-hand side, nail on the head, Gary. The left-hand side, they're having to reform a partnership, whereas on the right-hand side, they kind of still have one.
so does that lead me to ask the question about Trossard then? Should Trossard be coming in somewhere on the left 8 or left wing to make things make sense?
I've been saying that since day one. He should be
Make it
starting
make
for us.
sense, Robbie.
Make it make
He
sense.
should be starting for us, especially like, Jesus is out, and then you're trying to vet, and then all of you bring in 3 players, and they all have to start in the first game. Jesus is out, and Trossard for me would solidify things a little bit more the way you want to play. But no, we'll go in Nketiah, so now we're playing a different style up top, right? Jesus comes in, we're going to switch it again, right? Because he brings something different to the game. And now it's going to be the first time we're going to see that is probably against Manchester United. It's probably not going to look the way it usually does because he's still getting his feet wet and stuff, getting acclimated to just getting back into football. So I don't know what he's doing. I mean, Trossard for me would have made more sense because that's what he's for. He's for that type of situation. Like if you're saying, you know what, Jesus has been running really well, but I need to give him a break. Do I switch it up and say Nketiah goes in and we play a different style of football, or do I just put Trossard in and say, look, we can play something similar? Kind of feel like you want to do something similar, especially if everybody else is used to that. Like if you want a 10-game winning streak, Jesus needs to sit out, gets a red card or whatever. You're gonna bring Nketiah in and slow down that progress, that flow that you had, or you're gonna put Trossard in there and go, I don't have to change much at all. Nothing changes, right? And Trossard's shown you in the preseason that he's got it, and now he's got shots in there as well, right? So I don't understand why. Like this is the time to use him, because when Jesus comes in, what are you gonna? When does he play? If he's not, when does he play? This is the time to bring him in.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Think about it. When Jesus went out, right? When Eddie struggled, we saw Trossard come in, right? Things changed dramatically. He plays a different style. He plays more to what we usually played. We got in a role there, and then I think Martinelli went out for a bit. So then Trossard continued to play even when Jesus was there, and we looked really good. Trossard sits out, and things look bad again. So I don't know. I think the more we use him, the better he'll be. But now it's been 2 weeks now. He hasn't played. He hasn't played.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have played in 2 weeks.
And look, a victim maybe of the sending off as well in this game. He may have been used as sub.
Probably would have.
Yeah.
Two things. I think the first one is I'm looking in the chat box, and from what I can see, people in the chat box seem to say that they liked what they saw at Party at right back. The majority. I
actually think he's getting better at it. It's not that I like it so much. I have Gary's words in my ears when I see it. Like he's expending energy in that position that we want to maybe save for midfield. I understand where Gary's going with that one, but I think he's getting better at the position as well. It's a lot better than Nottingham Forest away from home at the end of the season where we first saw it.
Well, and that's probably the worst time to try it out. He's dead on his feet, so now we're going to ask you to do a lot more than you usually do.
Why is he dead on his feet? It's only been 2 games into the season. He's an athlete. What do you mean
I mean like last season when we saw him play that. Right now, I don't think he can give us 38 games, so we should use him wisely, right?
He can't.
So for me, he didn't even need to start the first game, right? Or he starts the first game, he sits out the second game,
So Gary.
Yeah. So
we don't know.
No, we don't know. So if he plays like I would expect him to play through the Manchester United game and then sit out, tactics. Right? And then when we play City, I think we play City 4 games after that or something like that, right?
No, I'll put it up here for you.
So here's the second thing I was thinking about, and it's 1 hour 34 minutes into this podcast, and I'm playing my first devil advocate card. I believe I'm allowed 3. Tony has 3 Zooming tokens that we have on the wrestling podcast. Those of you that know what we're talking about will know all about that. I have 3 devil advocate cards on this one. I'm playing my first one, and that is.
I didn't negotiate that.
I came up with it.
Okay.
You'll get a memo. Don't worry, my people are going to contact you, right? Right? Don't worry about that, right? The window's not shut yet. Okay. Do you think, right, that if we'd paid, say, 60 million for Trossard, we would have been playing him more?
Yes.
Do you see what I'm getting at? And not 20 odd. Do you think that plays any part in it? And should it?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't.
We agree, Gary. We agree. Hallelujah.
You play the better
Stefan
player.
Artsmile, would
I
you
don't
ball
care how much
tactics?
they cost. Right? I mean, come on. It makes no sense.
It doesn't
you
make any sense.
You get
I
a
agree.
steal. You get a player that just scored 9 goals in a season for that price.
Do you think there's anything in that?
How much?
Though?
Think about this. Think about this. If I told you here, I'm going to bring in a player who's versatile, play all front 3 positions. He's coming in with 9 goals.
Hat trick against
It's only
Liverpool.
going to be 27 mil. That's it.
At
I would
Anfield.
say-
27 mil for that player.
Take it.
You're jumping on that, right?
Take the
What
shot.
9
Mary.
goals, half a season in the Premier League. He played really well at Anfield. Guess what? You're taking that, right?
Yep.
Sign me up for that. I'll take 2
Take
of
the
those,
shot.
right?
Definitely.
Because think
But
about
then we
what
don't. But
player.
then we don't play him. It's like when you go to an auction and you spend, a few million on that rare Ferrari 1950 rebuild, but you don't drive it. You just put tarpaulin over it and leave it in the garage.
Mhm.
You don't drive it.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like a bit like Trossard. For me, I don't know what he has to. I agree in the last game, he probably would have come off the bench if we had 11 men on the pitch. But should he be starting even? You know what I'm saying?
He started in the league. Trossard, you talking about Trossard, right?
Yeah. Should he be
He
starting?
started in this league. The league that same season he was a starter.
I mean, like now. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
now.
why. That's why I'm saying.
So wait,
John
you
Martin
bring
doesn't-
if you brought Casado in, you start him, right?
Well,
But
Chelsea
it's
did.
only
Right?
two-
No.
it's
Think
only
about
2
it.
games
If
in.
you
I don't
brought
know,
It's only
but
2
Chelsea
games
did
in.
you brought
But
Casado in,
Champions
you're
League.
starting him, right?
Did it work for Chelsea?
No. If Arsenal brought Casado in, we're starting him, right?
I don't know, based on what he did for Chelsea.
No. No. You know what? One thing this is. I think it's one of those things where we're better set up to take on players, right? Because think about it. Timber comes in. He looked fine starting. Casado, I believe, is well ahead. He's already playing in the league. Played against this team. If he plays for Arsenal, we're laughing, right? I believe we're laughing. He's starting for us. So I kind of feel like, yeah, it's easy. Trossard is a starter, probably one of their top player at that point, right? As far as goals go,
Mm-hmm.
you take a team's leading scorer and you can't find a place for him. That's pretty bad on you.
Maybe
we keep
this is all
talking.
part of it.
We keep talking about we need goal scorers, right? And maybe we played out of position. That's why he didn't get him any goals when he came in. But he's shown that he can score. You know, and the stats say he can score. Just seen
He's good in
Eddie's
pre-season.
Seen
He's
Eddie's
good in
hitting the post
pre-season.
there.
His goals in pre-season. Because last season I thought a lot of assists, but he hits the fucking bar a lot, didn't he? Trossard. Pre-season, back of the net.
And now we don't play him. So now when he goes out there and he's hitting the post again, you're like, what happened? I saw this. Well, guess what? He's been like 3 weeks since he's played. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's that.
And I mean like really played, because that he did open
Yeah.
things up in the Forest game, but I think he needed to come in a lot sooner. I don't know when he came in, but I
In
would
the
rather
Forest
everyone
game?
come. Yeah.
I can check for you.
He's one of those players that when you bring him in, it seems like the tempo
Oh, there
just
it
picks
goes.
up a notch.
Wilson.
You know, the tempo goes up another notch, and everybody around him, they may have been tired, they tend to want to keep up with what he's doing. He kind of he's a playmaker. He dictates.
Yeah. And if he is like, your super sub,
73 minutes.
Yeah, that's not. He
Against
needs to
Forest.
get 30 minutes in a game. He's a super sub.
Well, there's 10 minutes of added time these days.
No, he comes in at
That's
60.
30 minutes.
He
That's
comes in
30
at
minutes.
60, Ray. No, because at some point, guess what? Referees are going to go back to normal, and it'll be the same 3 to 5 minutes of extra time eventually. Because when have you seen the new implementation of a rule really go for the entire season?
Sure.
You never see it, because they always start just getting back into the regular form. So
Let's talk about. And I'm sorry, I don't know if you've got a format, Ray, but am I?
It went out the window after 2 minutes. It went out the window.
after Tony joined the show,
Tony, he disrupts everything and then just leaves.
then he just drops
Leaves.
off, and the next.
It's like a scorched earth plan that he has.
He's probably talking to Tom right now.
And you're like, why can't we grow anything anymore? Oh, Tony,
Yeah,
that's right.
he's probably talking to Tom right now.
But the thing that happened in the match that has most people talking is the double booking of Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
The shirt pull that never was. how long is it going to take to throw a ball in? And, just rounding that off, one of the best suggestions I've had for, if you're thinking a player is time wasting on a throw in, there should be a time, whether it's 6 seconds or 12 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the time should be, but if
Shot
the player goes over that time, whatever the rule is for the time, then the throw in now gets played the other way.
Yeah, I don't like the fact
I
that
like
you
that
can get a
idea.
yellow card for that. It just
I
makes
prefer
no
that
sense.
idea. You took the
Because
time.
you know what?
Now the throwing goes to the other team.
If that's what happens, I have no doubt the coaches will be like, get that ball in. And one of the things that I think also happens is when there's a throw-in happening, I'm like, who is he supposed to throw the ball to? All of the Arsenal players are hiding behind the defender. Somebody come get this thing. You know what I mean? And speed up the game, and then you'll be able to build faster. Because I think if you knew that was the rule, that was the situation, they wouldn't take as much time on the throw-in, right? And as soon as think about this, you wouldn't pick the ball up immediately, right? If you knew that you only had 10 seconds, you're going to take your time to go over and get the ball.
You're done for that. You get done for that.
Go. No, I don't mean like wasting time. But I just mean like you just allow your teammates to get into position as opposed to run and get the ball and sit there waiting for them to get into position, and they're not even moving. Like how you watch multiple times in a game, we're doing a throw in, and all Arsenal players are just standing there, and it's like, I can't throw the ball to you. You're not moving, and you're not getting into a space where I know the defender can't get to it, so it takes forever.
Here's the thing, right?
Nobody comes to the ball.
Here's the thing, right, Gary. The rules of football, the very rules of football, they're quite simplistic. From the player side, the biggest commodity in football is a goal, because the more goals you get, the more chance of winning the game, right? You win the competition. But from a referee standpoint, his biggest job is to keep 11 players on the pitch by hook or by crook. It's not to be walking around looking to get people off. And from what I saw of the Tomiyasu, the 2 cards, that was never a second yellow, and that should never have been that he had to leave the game of play. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yet that card probably won't be rescinded. It's not going to be rescinded, and not only we lose that player for the game and have to regroup, we now can't use that person in the next game. The referee's job is not to just send people off; it's to do his best to keep people on the pitch.
True. Well, that given a yellow for that type of situation, I don't,
And the player from the other side done something even worse, right?
Yeah.
Didn't get nothing.
Well, no, think about it.
Was on a yellow card, got nothing.
We talk about wasting time, and the first thing that it seems like they're doing, it seems anyways the way it's been implemented anyways, is that it's the outfield players are getting punished for it. Like the goalkeeper has always been the one we've always complained about, right? It's, a lot about what they're doing, holding onto the ball for like 30 plus seconds or whatever it is, putting the ball down.
Remember there used to be that goalkeeper rule. If you taken the goal kick, you took more than X amount of seconds, then you got done for it. Do you remember? You couldn't just.
And then they didn't implement
that
it.
Got phased out.
How is this getting implemented? You know what I mean? This is implemented like that. But the goalkeeper one, they're not even calling the rule they're supposed to.
Do you remember that other rule when there'd be a free kick, and if you argued with the referee, he'd move the ball on a few meters? Do you remember that? They used to do that rule. They don't do that anymore.
Yes.
Do you remember that? You used to argue with the ref, they would move the ball even closer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I actually think that, I get it. The time wasting rule has come in this season, but it's going over the top because, when you're looking at games and it's like out of 90 minutes, the ball was in play for 42 minutes. That's less than one half. Whether I'm paying and going to a game through the turnstile or getting up at 4:30 in the morning, I want to see as much as 90 minutes as possible. So to see 42, so I get that, but it seems to be going completely the other end of the scale now, like off the fucking charts,
Yeah, definitely.
And I look at it this way: if managers don't want to have 10 minutes added on at the end of the game or whatever, then make sure their players don't time waste.
Don't waste time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
I never get the all right, we have 8 minutes of extra time, a foul or happens at 6 or 7 minutes. Why at 10 minutes are we still playing? Well, because there were players laying on the ground for 2 minutes.
And this is what
That's why the game is still going, right?
yeah.
This team, there's an injury. There was an injury. I think I forgot what injury it was, like the
Man
head-to-head
City.
injury, right? And the players are down, and you're like, why is it an extra 2 minutes? It's not an extra 2 minutes. The game stopped while the clock stopped while these players are getting admitted, getting medical.
And City are really good at bleeding the clock as well. So
it's a 90-minute game.
I think
game.
what they should just do is that their officials should just run the clock, stop the clock when it needs to be stopped.
Like an actual.
And then like
look up there. Everyone can see it. We have one at we used to have one at Highbury. I don't know at the Emirates. And you see that it counts down. It should stop.
Yeah.
Then when the referee says, "Okay, that's sorted out," he blows the whistle. The clock starts to roll again.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just hand signals. Essentially, the person up there who's running the clock, the official, the referee
science, man,
starts the clock. Says let's, like in NFL. They do whatever movement it is, and it's like start the clock now.
Yeah.
In basketball, the same thing. The hand goes down, the clock starts. Hand goes up, the clock stops. Easy.
If us three idiots and Tony can come up with this on a Thursday night.
So wait, we're three idiots, and Tony, where is Tony?
Tony's the leader. The leader does not have to be here the whole time.
Paid millions to have think tanks and stuff should be able to come up with this shit.
Yeah. Tony is the CEO.
And like I said, in college soccer over here in the States, I said the S word because that's what it's called over here. They actually stopped the clock. So you don't have. There's no like. Well, how much time? No, you can see how much time is left in it.
This is they complain about Arsenal winning so many games in late dramatic circumstances last season. The reason was because teams were time wasting, and we had 7, 8, 9 minutes of added time, and we're going to score because we're all right.
Years from now, we'll be taking timeouts. You know what I mean? We'll be taking timeouts and shit. You know what I mean?
Don Juan wants to know where Tony's gone. Is he hunting the escaped captive from his basement? Could be wrestling a bear, but most likely he's talking to Tom or Sam right now on the phone.
I think the Wagner group are regrouping.
Yeah.
Apparently they said that they're going to be moving on Moscow if they find out there was some dodgy stuff going on with a guy that went down. So
they're regrouping in Oklahoma.
That's the launching point.
Everything happens in Okie, Oklahoma. Yeah. So that's time wasting as well. And Tomiyasu, I believe, was hard done by. I was watching the game.
I didn't see it, but I heard.
And Gary can attest to this. I think it started with Partey at right back, letting the ball go out for a goal.
And Havertz done something right. Havertz picked the ball up and then threw it to Tomiyasu.
First there was a Partey and Ramsdale gimmick, wasting time. The referee was beginning to get frustrated. Havertz didn't take the throw in, and Tomiyasu got caught for it after 8 seconds. And it looks bad on Tomiyasu. He's got his first yellow card for that. The second one's a joke. Second yellow card for Tomiyasu, in my opinion, is a joke. As somebody said here,
what isn't it? First red card since Rob Holding.
Yeah. Gary didn't want me to mention that on Monday. He's like, don't, Ray. Don't. Ayew should have been sent off legitimately, BX Gunner said. You know,
about that. Yeah.
If Tomiyasu did that, Ayew was 5 times worse, and he was already on the yellow card at the time as well. But it did lead to our goal. You know, that foul led to our goal. That was a free kick that allowed.
So what did you make of, again, another question. So we had a penalty. What did you make of, as I understood it, we got a penalty. Saka, who's our penalty taker, gave the ball to Odegaard. Anything in that? What do you think?
First, I was wondering why. Why are we changing our penalty taker? It turns out that
because Odegaard didn't grab the ball, the penalty taker, as we know it, is Saka, right? As I understand it, he had the ball and then he made the decision to give it to Odegaard, right?
Yeah, so Saka was not feeling.
Did you read anything into this? I mean, if you're not feeling it, isn't it better to not? Is it better to pass it on or still take it?
How did he not feel it? Like usually Arteta makes that
Confidence.
decision before the game starts, right?
Maybe he was
So-
had an ache or something. In his, you know what I mean? We don't know how they're feeling. Something I heard the other day. A player was saying that, an ex-player, it was Darren Bent actually, was saying that it's very rare that you come onto the field of play and you just don't have any pain, anything anywhere. It's just very rare. So on that basis, is it possible that maybe he was thinking, you know, tweak-wise, energy-wise, is it better for him to say, I'd rather give it to someone else and they have the better chance than me fuck it up, or should he have taken it? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
Gary,
Is
what do you
that-
reckon?
yeah, I guess so.
You watch college ball and young guys and all that. What should he have done?
And Boyce's saying because he missed his last one. I don't think he missed his last one, but he missed one in pre-season before. He did miss a penalty.
What do you
before.
think?
You shouldn't play. You shouldn't play football then because you're gonna miss more shots. You shouldn't take shots anymore. So you should just play defense or something. I don't know. I don't know. I think you go through a lot. Coaches go through a lot to figure out who's gonna take it, and then like all of a sudden he's just handing it off. It looks weird to me. I would rather him, like it be done before the game.
But Odegaard scored, right? What if he had taken it, not feeling good, whether it's mentally or physically, and he shanks it right again, and then
I like the confidence that Odegaard exhibited here. We're talking about Odegaard, talking last season that we missed out on a big chance to win the league in our run in the last 9 games, and Odegaard is feeling hurt by what happened, being the captain as well. And I like this. Your talisman, if we're going to call him a talisman, he has to be a talisman for the team, right?
Be Martin.
Martin, yeah. The talisman for the team, taking that responsibility on his shoulders and scoring a penalty that
it would have been worse if Saka went to the hand and the ball and he went like, "Are you having a laugh?" It's like, nah, mate. Do you know what I mean? Nah,
not happening. Nah. Yeah. But, these are the games I said on the trip on Monday night in Gary's show. Check it out. These are the games that I think we won't remember these 3 points. If we win the league, we won't necessarily remember these 3 points, but they will have counted in the grand scheme of things.
We haven't lost a game.
Haven't lost a game yet.
What more do you want as a football fan?
2 wins.
Yeah, I mean, you don't.
More goals. More goals would be nice.
You don't look at the losses because they don't take away something from you, right? Only thing that takes away something from you is a draw or a loss. So those are So yeah, we get a win right now we don't care. We got the win. Who cares what happened?
We're starting to build. We're starting to build that town in Cardiff here with a lot of W's in it, and hopefully it can continue that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
2 wins.
What I understand as well is that we went down to 10 men as well, and I understand that it was a hell of a defensive display in and around our box, and we brought on mega legs, and I understand that he was really relishing the tackles and done a lot of good things, and apparently we put on a really good defensive display. Someone said maybe it was the defensive display was maybe a little bit deep and nearer to our goal than we would have liked, but nonetheless. We managed to.
I thought we and Gary can confirm. I thought we defended the edge of our box very well.
Yeah. I mean, teams are going to get opportunities, and they did, but for most.
Any standouts?
For most
part, Saliba looked good. Any standouts? Saliba looked good. I heard.
Well, Saliba makes the tackle in the box that if he doesn't, they have a good he has a bad touch on him, and then I think it's Decore or Edward jumps on it and is attacking the goal, and he times it perfectly and then tackles the ball off of him inside the box. No yellow or anything, no card, covers. And it's almost like that Mbappe. We did the same thing to Mbappe. You remember?
Yeah.
He did a similar thing to that. Yep. So yeah, like I said, defensively we didn't feel threatened. Like they weren't going to get anything from us. We just missed our chances when we had them. But otherwise, I think like you said, we control the game. It wasn't like that 1-0. I forgot the game last season. We won 1-0, and the other team basically got nothing. This was a little bit more open. And you think they're down a couple of players, and it wouldn't be such. But I think we just whenever we made a mistake, they pounced on it because they know they weren't going to get too many opportunities. And I think that's what we have to pay attention to. We have to play sound for 90 minutes.
Right.
As soon as a team sees us make a mistake, they just pounce on it because they know they're not going to get another chance again. And you see they've got like 4-on-4, 4-on-3 because they just no, it's not going to happen too often. I think we have to get used to that and play much better football, so they never even get that chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the same thing happened in the Forest match, right? They got an opportunity, we made a little bit of a mistake, and they just jumped on it and took down the field and scored, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, they got a little confidence, and that's why we need, like I've been saying all along, we can score 3 goals on everybody.
Yeah.
So we should be scoring 3 goals on everybody. Right, our average goal, we should be getting close to 100 goals because we are that good. We are good enough to do that.
Well, we're not tracking it right now, but we need to.
Yeah.
Stan, you were one to ask about these W's.
And I wanted to ask you something. It's like, how good do you think William Saliba is? And it's a question to everyone, I suppose. Now, when you look at the defenders in the Premier League,
best
in our country, where would you rate him? And if you're saying that he's in the top 3 or 5, who was he keeping company with? Where would you rate this guy?
I think
he's good, isn't he? He's fucking good, isn't he?
I think. Listen, I'm going to be a little bit biased and say I think he's the best central defender in the league right now. If you're looking at other ones, maybe Newcastle's Botman is pretty good. Maybe Van Dijk. Van Dijk might be coming back to his best, but there's still worries about his injury. Diaz, yeah. So I think Saliba's comfortably in the top 3, if not one of the best ones in the Premier League. As Don Juan has said, Saliba bossed, calm and controlled. And as Gary outlined, the recovery pace when he made that poor touch, Edward was onto it like a flash, but he would have gotten away from most defenders there, Gary, but Saliba had that.
Well, that's and that's what if you remember when Van Dijk, before he's got his injury, similar thing. You think you got it, and Van Dijk's right there to clean up any messes. All right.
Yeah.
And that's Saliba right now, and he's still got time to grow into this position. So, yeah, I mean, I think some people, I believe best young defender, definitely for his age, but probably under. 23, 24. He's definitely probably number 1. It's only getting better with age. So every day. So I think we're set there. Really good to keep him in the house. Keep him signed. So no.
Great that we were able. Probably the best signing of the summer was re-signing Saliba.
Yeah. Well, they're all important, right? Because
sure.
Didn't Saka sign as well in the summer, or and after the season?
Martinelli.
So if you they're all important, right? If you said, okay, I got Martinelli, but I lost Saka, then you're like, crap, not so good. But we kept all of them, right?
I love the way Declan Rice has really bought into the team as well. He looks like he's going to be that leader that we need, and I think Declan Rice is relishing the challenge ahead of trying to beat City to this title. You know what I mean? I think Declan Rice is fully bought in now, and he was one of the players who celebrated that win to the greatest extent. When that final whistle comes in after 10 minutes of extra time, whatever it was, you get that relief of 3 points, and Declan Rice knew that he contributed to keeping Palace out. We kept what we got. We held what we got, a 1-0 victory. And, we're trying to emulate what we did here last season and go beyond the last 9 games as well. Again, so we started off in really good fettle with 2 wins on the spin here. And you can't ask for more than that. I mean, you can ask for more goals. You can ask for more possession, more shots on goals, all of that stuff. But 2 wins, two wins that we really need to have had as well against Nottingham Forest at home, Crystal Palace away from home, and we need to continue that on the weekend with Fulham.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
You know?
we need to once again. I'm gonna say it again, and maybe hopefully I don't jinx it this time. But we need to go into the United game on a 7-game winning streak.
Yes.
I mean, that's what we need to do. So,
Well, yeah, are you talking about 3 in preseason?
no, right now we need to be going. We need to have 1-7 Premier League games going into the 8th one against City.
Right, Man City. Yeah, we play Man United the one first though. I'm not going to look beyond. I'm going to look beyond Fulham, but not.
Well, you know what? Right
Man
now, what we need to keep pace with City.
Didn't
So
Fulham
if
just
that's
send one of
the-
their players
no.
to Saudi Arabia for loads of money? Was it,
Mitrovic.
he's gone there, isn't he?
Yeah, so
Who's
Mitrovic
gone?
is out. Tim Reed,
Jesus.
their captain, who's a
So,
defender, he's out with the
this
red
is-
because he got the red card. So I think they're playing down 2 men essentially.
Yeah.
So
This is one thing I wanted to talk about as well. Was we
Yeah.
won't be here for much longer, but I want to talk about the effect of Saudi Arabia. And is this the best? Do we have the best chance in years? We have to maybe take our opportunity
yeah.
because I don't want to think about it, but it could happen that Saudi Arabia will start coming for some of our players as well. Maybe not Gabriel Magalhaes, but some of the other players like Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus,
Right back.
you know, or a right back, as Stan says. What do you think, Gary? Do you think Saudi Arabia will have an effect on the Arsenal team maybe not this summer, but next summer?
I don't think so.
Thomas Partey next
Oh
summer?
well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably we probably should be, if we can get him sold. I guess it doesn't even matter if it's Saudi Arabia, right? Like if we were able to bring in a player now, we would have let Partey go probably. But having the two together, which I think is the best transition plan for Rice, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, that we can now bring in a player that sits behind Rice, and so yeah, no, yeah, I don't. It's not gonna next year. I don't think it's not as bad of a hit as it was this year if he would have left. So I think we'll be fine next year if he left, because he will be 1 year older. And,
do you have a fear that a Saudi Arabia team would go for one of our world class players, and we called out 3 of them in the last podcast: Saka, Odegaard, and Saliba.
Uh,
I don't know if they're going to be ready to do something like that. I mean, we see them going out
money talks, right? It's you talk about a sporting sense, but there is a financial sense here.
Well, I guess I don't see it with Saka. I mean, you're talking about Martinelli and Odegaard. I don't see it with Odegaard. I don't even see it with Martinelli. I don't see them wanting to. Like, I understand there's a lot more money there, but I don't see it, especially depending on how the season goes. So, yeah.
Don Juan said we should have won it last year. F City and the treble. Yeah, it was pretty horrible, sickening viewing of City doing all of that in May and June. We threw away the title. They were beatable. We had them where we needed them.
Think about it. They didn't even have to play to win the league.
We didn't finish. They didn't break a sweat, really.
No, I mean, like, they won the league sitting at home.
Yeah, and I wanted it to take it to the last weekend, and we couldn't even do that against Brighton at home. So yeah, we're trying to conserve our resources in these first 2, 3, 4 games to extend ourselves into April and May. Trossard will easily be poached by Saudi Arabia. So the effect of Saudi Arabia is being felt by other teams. Mo Salah now has agreed terms with Saudi Arabia. It doesn't mean that he's going to be sold, but he's open to going there if Liverpool are open.
I heard. If I heard this correctly, they could be upwards of like 200 million for Salah.
Yep. Wages.
If you're
no,
that's the fee.
Fee.
Yeah, the salary.
Yeah, it's like 30. It's like 90 or something like that. 90 is the salary or something
It's
like
1.9 million a week.
Yeah.
A week. 1.9 million a week.
Yes.
And
And some-
me,
Got it.
I've got this thing about odd numbers, right? I'd be like, no, it's got to be 2 million.
Two. Yeah.
1.9
Drive
is
a
an
hard
odd number.
bargain.
That's an odd number.
Round it up. Round it up.
Round it up.
Jeez.
No, I heard. I mean, I heard a Liverpool fan say that for 200 mil, he'll rather keep Salah.
Or cash in.
No, they would rather keep Salah than sell him for 200 mil.
I don't know. And I've heard some people say Mbappe. Go get Mbappe with that money.
He's not going to want to
You know?
go, but they can go get Osimhen if they wanted to.
Yeah.
They can beef up their team
You
a lot
have-
more. You know.
You have a Mo Salah who's maybe coming into the twilight of his career. Having
I mean,
won,
the question is he?
maybe.
No, is he? Like, look at his. If you go look at his stats and then ask the question, does he look like he's just going to drop off?
Do you
this
think
season?
he'll have better stats this season? That's the question then.
I
I don't.
The Gakpo will be much better. Diaz will be healthy again. Nunez, who knows what's going to happen there? But like, you think of those are the three the players that are playing with Gakpo and Diaz and Salah, and you know
Salah's
the
one
way
of
they
those
ended
players that
the way they
he's one of those
ended
players
this season, and the way and just
And-
like if we're expecting our players to improve year on year, then Gakpo and Diaz should improve, and it's Salib and Salah's always been doing it, right? So.
Salah's one of those
19
players
goals.
that even if his stats, his output dropped a little bit, it would still be better than most people that they've got in their squad. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense. You know?
He had 19 goals.
His assists and his goals dropped a little bit. He would still be producing.
Yeah.
But my thoughts in the Saudi league is I look at it this way. It's like you leave college at 19, you want to be a banker, and you go and get a job in Barclays Bank at 19. And you're working in Barclays Bank, and then you're 25, and the bank in Dubai says, we want you to come and work with us, and we're going to give you this nice place to live. We're going to give you like 4 times what you're earning at Barclays Bank. You can bring your family over, lovely weather. It's a job. The difference is that we have to understand that we have to separate ourselves from fans as footballers, because we're all in this position where we do podcasts, and you know, it's like, well, I'd play for Arsenal for free. They wouldn't want me to play for them for free because I'm fucking shit. But we all want to be in that situation where, you know what I mean? We want to play for Arsenal, but how many of these people were even born in North London? They're not locals. It's not like that. These are jobs. Yes, Arsenal is a good place to be, but if you're playing football every day since you're 16, and you've been playing in a team in the Premier League, and you've been playing in Europe, and a team comes in from Saudi Arabia and we have to offer you like a contract with this kind of money that they're offering, and you've got a family, and maybe you've got other responsibilities. This is like generational money. You know that if you take this contract, your grandchildren are going to be sweet. Not just you and your wife, your grandchildren, your kids are going to be set up.
Says there.
There's a lot to consider. The only thing where I think it's a problem is where you get into a situation where you've got a Saka in 5 years' time, or a William Saliba when it's time to maybe renegotiate, and then he's in a position to say, well, how much are you going to pay me? And you're like, well, X. And he's like, well, they're paying me, they want to pay me double X over there. So what are you going to do? Because you can't match that. No matter how much you bring in as a self-sustaining model, you're never going to be able to match the sort of money that the Saudi Arabians have hanging about in their ashtrays. And it's like, there you go, have that. And that's like, as I just discussed, 1.9 million a week for Salah.
Yeah.
That's the thing where I think is the problem.
But you know what, young players, I mean, there is no, outside of the money, there's no draw to the Saudi League, right? If you're, you know what I mean? Like Benzema, old, Ronaldo, old, Henderson, old. I mean, all these players are you know what? Not only are they older, but guess what they have done? They have won the big trophies, right? They won everything. They're not winning anything in the Saudi League.
Gary, you said Benzema. Let me just interrupt. Did you hear what happened? He's gone all the way over there, right, to Saudi Arabia. You know, Nuno Espirito Santo is the manager of the club. Where he's gone, he's turned around and said to the club, he doesn't fit tactically in what I want. his player. His player isn't. I can't use this player. Benzema.
Can't use Benzema. Okay.
Can't use Benzema. He's not what.
It makes
Sorry,
sense.
Not what I
get that
want.
in.
This is the same manager who had
Bring in
Kane on the team
Jimenez.
and struggled. So like 30 30
Armando
plus goal
Traore.
contributions from he can't figure out a way to use them.
I need some
I mean,
baby
you were
oil.
talking about Salah, and Salah over the last 6 years is averaging over 30 goal contributions.
He's
the
like,
Premier
get me
League.
Yaya Sanogo.
So,
That's the guy that I need.
Yeah.
Get me Armando Traore with the baby oil.
That's like the dumbest thing I ever heard. I can't figure out how to get a 20+ goal scorer to work
how
in
many
the Saudi
Champions
league.
Leagues has he
But
won?
again, this shows you another side of it where it's like, they bring in these managers. I bring in Nuno, we bring in Stevie Gerrard and all of that. But they're just figureheads, right? There's other people pulling the strings. There's other people saying, Stevie Gerrard wakes up in the morning, a new player has turned up. You got to fit this guy in. Steve's like, I didn't remember asking for this guy. But you've got him now, so make it work. That's in it. Nuno probably didn't ask for Benzema, and Nuno's got the balls to turn around and go, that bloke that you brought over from Spain has costed you like fucking a truck full of money. Oh yeah, the one that's selling all them shirts and everything and bringing eyes into the team. They used to play for Real Madrid, won Ballon d'Ors, and then the Liga. Yeah, I can't use that guy. It's just not happening. I just don't. I'm not feeling it. I mean, that's a situation and a half, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah.
Like, why does he still have a job?
Hello there.
You gotta let him go.
We've switched the avatar of Tony Turner
to these nuts.
To these nuts. A brand of revamping.
That's what Alonso's eating right now. Tell him, Alonso, what are you eating right now?
Nuts.
These nuts.
These nuts.
It's fucking gross, man. I'm eating meat and some like a Taco Bell kind of thing.
I'm eating these pretzels.
All right.
I was gonna have some these waters.
I got just water here.
Actually, Alonso, in case you didn't know, I'm actually eating these Chef Boyardee stuffed raviolis.
And that overstuffed too.
Boise said it just feels soulless, though, compared to the Premier League, and that's the Saudi League. You think it'll find its way onto TV screens? The Saudi League will be promoted more and more. I feel like we're going to be able to see it. Is it available anywhere?
Here's a question. You just said, will it be available on TV screens? So what you're saying that there will be TV networks that will turn down the sack full of money that they will pay to get on air?
Yeah, silly me.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it will be about. That's the next stage. They need eyes on the product now. You know, like the Premier League has eyes globally. They need to get that. And how do you get time on air? If you want to put an advert on at the Super Bowl, you can, if you've got the money. They've got the money. Yeah.
And look, maybe somebody in the chat box can tell us where it's already being shown, or if it's on ESPN, if it's on Peacock or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Well, it's got to be on ESPN Plus because that's where they have the championship on ESPN Plus. It's championship.
Okay.
So that's why I think the avenue would go.
So you think the Saudi League will turn up on ESPN Plus?
Yeah,
it's got to be. I mean, that's where the big stars are going now, apparently.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Who doesn't want to show Cristiano Ronaldo? I mean, he's just for marketing alone. You know, the social media followers that this guy has, they're going to go where he goes, right? That's the draw. They're going to pay Salah more than Cristiano Ronaldo. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, he's a much better player.
Don Juan said Saudi League might try and get into the Champions League. I mean, that would be something.
It's very spiteful, Gary.
I'm sorry, the better player.
He's a much better player. So
right now, yeah.
Right now, you would say Mo Salah is better than Ronaldo, right?
Yeah, but I'm just talking about, you know what I'm saying? The whole team. Ronaldo.
You bring in Mo Salah, you're probably expecting to win the league. You know
the thing is, the key is with Mo Salah as well. Not only are you bringing him in, you're bringing in. He's a Muslim as well, right? Yeah. You know, that's got to count for something. You know.
See, there, BX Gunner says there's games already on. So
Yeah, you know what? The Fox Sports has Saudi League. So there you go. If you have Fox.
Premier League used to be free to watch here in Ireland, you know.
Apparently, Nicola Pepe's in talks with a team in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but can we get 200 million for him?
And we get $200 for him.
No damn right, you know.
Salah was the top dog in the Premier League for like 5-6 years.
At the moment, for Nick Pepe, I'd be glad for a packet of pickled onion Monster Munch.
Yeah. Funyuns.
Yeah, a bag of Funyuns.
Rancheros. Give me Rancheros.
I'd be glad for these nuts.
Gary, what's your favorite? What's your favorite chips, Gary?
My favorite salt and vinegar.
Oh, really?
Salt and vinegar, Walkers.
No, I don't. We don't have that over here. So.
Gary,
I'm not just saying this to be controversial now, but that's like my worst flavor.
I love that stuff.
I love vinegar on chips, but I don't like salt and vinegar crisps.
Salty.
I like that.
Salty,
you know what?
sour.
I remember back when I was younger, going into Marks and Spencer's and just eating the crisps there. That was the best part about going
before
to the
store.
Before he
took him to the checkout and paid for them.
Exactly, you're eating them through because your mom's walking you through the store. And you're like, all right, I'm gonna get some crisps. So you're eating the crisps while you're walking through, and then like when you get there, you're like halfway through, and you're like,
your mom was like, I gotta buy them now. Damn it. Damn it.
Hey Gary, what did you say? Marks and Spencer's?
Yeah.
There we go. Prawn cocktail.
That is old
Prawn cocktail's good.
Yeah.
That's like the British home stores.
Yeah, that was the only thing I knew they had there.
The Grace
might have
Brothers.
had other stuff, but it was definitely crisps.
The Grace Brothers, his partners.
All right.
Yeah. You know what I did like also? I like Andy Cap.
Andy Cap. Fucking hell.
I starred I put 3 stars on, so I'll double back before we get out of here. Real put one in earlier, Stan. 2 teams which play a low block. The manager feels an additional attacker will help to break them down. So that's why we played in that fashion. You know what I mean?
Because teams are respecting us more. They're adapting when we come to play them now, or whatever, even when they come to playoffs. What if every team plays us in a low block? Is that our formation then for the rest of the season? Okay.
Yeah, Thomas Partey is your right back.
We better get good at it.
Thomas, better get better. If Balogun conducted himself, Gary, like Saka and Martinelli, he'd be in the plans. True or false?
True.
There's a lot of no. I don't think it's all. I don't think it's all on him. Given that it's not all on him. You know, I think he wants what he wants, and he probably does. He can command that, right? And then I think a lot of people are just jumping on him being like this. I don't think he's a problem child. I believe it's just a matter of he knows what he wants in his career. Arsenal doesn't want to offer it.
What do you think if he goes to Monaco? Do you think he does well?
I think he'll do well. I think he'll do well. It's, some people think he's running away from challenges and all of that. Yeah. But I kind of feel like
path of least resistance.
That's what everybody's saying, but if I told you this is what I need for my career to get better,
I know my podcast.
I'm not going to give it to you. You know, so it kind of goes both ways. I think it goes both ways. You know, I don't understand why he's not considered a threat to Nketiah. That's the part I don't get. Like the way it sounded is if they're like, you're not even as good as you can't be as good as Nketiah, so we're not even going to give you a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thinking on that one. I don't think he was offered the same opportunity to just seat someone, and so then okay, you're not going to help me in my career, so why do I want to stay here? So I don't know. You might somebody might say selfish and all this stuff, but I think they're just on different pages, and that's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
Alonso, I'll throw this one at you from Lawrence. Alonso, do you think Havertz warrants a spot in the team ahead of Trossard?
I personally don't think so. I think Emil Safo does get a shot over Havertz. I think Trossard is better suited. on the wing and or center forward. You know, Havertz hasn't done bad, but he hasn't done great either. So I think there's a middle point there. I think that Emil Rowe, I think his time is now if he's going to get that spot. He's got to challenge Havertz or whomever else. But I do like Emil Rowe a lot. I think that there's still a future at the club for him. And I think Trossard is better on the wing and or center forward. That's just my opinion. But I think Emil Rowe offers us a lot more in that position, even on the wing as well. So
Yeah.
I think through the middle he's better off in that position, and I think Trossard is.
If we see
see
Emil Smith Rowe flourish,
I'd be okay with Trossard in that number 8 too.
I'd love to see Emil Smith Rowe flourish again like he did 2 seasons ago.
What is the deal with Emil Smith Rowe? He's like making less appearances than fucking Claude Rains, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? And if you don't know who Claude Rains is, he played the Invisible Man. It's just like what has this guy got to do? Him and Trossard, they're like the outcasts. They're like the outsiders. They're like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash
on the outs. Get yourself some cheese and onion potatoes. They're pretty good from Ireland as well.
Wait, a very quick story. When I was living and selling timeshare in a resort in Portugal, met a lovely.
Oh, you're one of those guys. I know I didn't like you.
The product was good. I met a lovely couple from Ireland. Yeah. Got on really well with them. Looked after them for the week and that. Sold them a timeshare, and about a month later, they were telling me, or one of them was telling me something about they lived near the potato factory. I'm like, can we talk about it? What's potatoes? I'm like, the crisps. I love crisps. A month later, I got called to reception. And it's a big box, a big square box. They sent me a square box of potato crisps, cheese and onion. I swear to God, mate.
Did you like them?
Oh, yeah. Mate, different gravy. Gravy. You know when Gary says there are levels to this? That's what I'm talking about when it comes to potato chips. They're on that Funyun level, mate. Do you know what I mean? Potatoes.
Definitely.
Lovely couple. Sent me a fucking box of them.
Amazon now. You could probably get them through Amazon. You probably could get them through Amazon.
Shame the timeshare burnt down, though, but...
Yeah.
No,
I know.
I'm joking.
Boise said there's always one, Stan. Always one.
Actually, it wasn't timeshare. It was holiday ownership.
Yeah.
That's just code word for timeshare.
Holiday ownership, Gary. Holiday ownership.
There you go, Gary. Kettle, salt, and vinegar.
Yeah, I like kettle. Kettle cooked is okay, but they're too crunchy.
Yeah, they're hard.
It's too crunchy. Yeah, they're hard. I guess maybe it's not crunchy, but they're really hard. Yeah.
Tony will tell you I like the jalapeno cheddar Cheetos.
Okay.
They're kind of
I do like the cheese puffs.
Yes.
I do like those.
Good too.
Well, you did say that you like going both ways, so a cheesy puff is no surprise.
Yes. Very good. We're ending the show on that note, right?
And also, before we go, though, BX Gunner was right. RIP to 2 big wrestlers that died in the same week, man. We lost Terry Funk. The king of hardcore, earlier in the week. Which, for me, that was a bit of a choker. Big fan of Terry Funk's. But we also lost Bray Wyatt today. 36 years old. Active wrestler. 36 years old. A guy that goes to the gym every day and does a lot of fitness and shit. Probably does a lot. I don't know what else he does, but 36, another one. So yeah, just take care, everyone, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Please do take care of yourselves and each other, as they say out there.
Makes you think, right?
Yep, that's your final words, Stan.
A bit morbid, wasn't it?
We'll get out of here. Unless you want to say something upbeat.
I suppose I should end in a gag. Okay. Oh, here's one. You know what I've noticed? My bills, they seem to be coming more than I do these days.
I saw that one earlier. Yeah.
You can have that one.
You came a little earlier as well. Yeah. Alonzo, how do you follow that one up, boy? These nuts? You're on mute. Gary's going to get the final word tonight.
Alonzo, you're on mute, mate.
Alonzo, you're still on mute.
Can't hear.
All right. That's the show, boys and girls.
Lonzo, you're not gonna talk. You had Tony, and then we went to Lonzo. Oh, we lost him.
Lonzo.
Maybe he'll come back in a little bit.
Yeah,
Philip-
Maybe he
we'll be
wants the
back
last.
soon.
Maybe he
Philip?
wants the last words. I guess he didn't want me to get the last
All right,
word.
Gary, take us out of here.
So yeah, so we're playing Fulham.
Fulham.
They're down essentially 2 men, so we should see what we've seen all season. Low block probably, but we need to punish them.
Mhm.
We have the team, the squad to do it. We're out. What another left back once again. So Zinchenko coming back. We shall see. But I do believe we need to score more than 1 goal. Need to hit that 3-goal mark. I think.
Yes.
Let's get there. More would be nice, but 3 is. I'll take 3. We haven't got a goal from Saka. A goal.
We did. We got a worldly from
Yeah.
Saka.
Worldly,
Okay,
first
sorry.
match.
Sorry, you're right. Sorry, what am I
How
saying?
could you forget that? How could you
Martinelli
forget?
needs to score, right?
Yeah.
Erdegaard needs to score a goal.
Havertz.
Havertz needs to score a goal. That's at least 3 people there that needs to score a goal. I'd like to see Trossard come in and get 1 too, but
Greedy.
beggars can't be choosers. But yeah, no. So I expect us to come out. Hopefully, we'll see the team that's going to play against Manchester United. So I assume Gabriel Margalés will score. Will start. Who knows what that means for our lineup? Maybe Partey will rest. We'll see. But yeah, so that's it. I want us. I like an easy win. I don't want us to have to battle again. We need a comfortable win.
Yeah.
We have the team to do it. Fulham is struggling. We need no
Perfect
team to
team.
go out there and do something. Yeah.
Fulham should be the perfect team as a prerequisite for the Man United game the following weekend. So that it should happen. And Gary, you'll be following it later in the morning, right?
Yeah, I probably will just do I usually have my show at 11. The game starts at 10, so I'll probably just do a full-blown watch along and stuff like that. So, so join me
Better
on
get up at
Saturday.
what time?
Stan
11.
wouldn't start getting up at 7 a.m. So
Stan's getting up at 7. You're starting. You're
Stan's
going
not
live
getting
at
up
11.
at 7. He's not.
No, that's not too bad. That's not too bad.
7, okay.
He can do
I
that.
can do that.
All right, so maybe Stan will be up watching that, and so cool. But yeah, I'll have my show going on, so we'll chat about it while we watch it.
Yeah, and I will try. No promises. I'll try to do a pre-game show as well before when the lineups are announced, because they're becoming hard to predict once again.
Well,
yeah.
It's
like you've got a bag, right, and you've got all the players' names in a bit of paper rolled up in a bag, and you just put your hand in and pick 11 out.
Like Scrabble.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like Scrabble. All right, we'll get out of here. Thank you, Gary, Stan, Alonzo.
Thanks
Tony.
for having me.
Where are you, Tony?
Yeah, thank you.
Where are you, Tony? Yes, thanks for being here.
Secret Service stuff. Can't talk about it.
See you on the next one. Take care, everyone. Come on, you
See you
Gooners.
guys.
Thanks for watching. Slap a like.